2 amazing races and 2 amazing live concerts later, we now arrive at Sunday for 2 more races and 2 more lives. Welcome everyone again to the Formula Hololive Japan and Formula Hololive International races of the weekend. It's round 2 for Formula Hololive Japan and an invitational race for the international boys. It's the Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Fuji coming right up. But first of all, we got another race, a different race for all of you to enjoy. But first of all, let's take a look into the track map. To 4.56 kilometers of racing, 16 corners in total, 44 laps for the Split C race. Just wanted to give a bit of an update to everyone that the Honeyworks race is now shortened to 100 kilometers and 22 laps in order to better comply with the Honeyworks race, the Honeyworks Live Concert's shortened duration. We're looking at target lap time, maybe 122.995. That has not been seen since Split A. It's round 2 of the qualifiers for the JP class cars. It's the aero races coinciding with the 5th Fest. And we have modified pit stop rules plus in cars. Well, modified pit stop rules for the Split C race. That's the only remaining race with the modified pit stop rules. And for the other events, such as the Honeyworks race, we'll be seeing a normal rules applied, although there's still ballast that's applied to JP class cars and all that stuff. So let's take a look into the Honeyworks Invitational Spotters Guide to list the available drivers who will be competing. We're going to be seeing a 36 strong field. A lot of them have competed already in splits A and B, and for those who will be competing in split C, this is a good time for them to basically sharpen their skills before the qualifying session for the split C event starts. So as you can see here, we have Hofumi, Muhammad Cashew. They have participated in the split B race. Alto Santana will compete in split C. Lorenzo Ricci has competed in A. Say the same goes for Sinful. Kisara Leo will compete in split C. Michael Turner has competed in split A. Jeff Rohan will be competing in split C. Daniel Goyena has already competed in split B. Crystal Salman will be the one that will also start his racing events here and then move on to the split C event immediately after. Ed Sky will also race, well, not exactly. Ed Sky actually is going to be racing a second race after he competed in split B. For other drivers like Jeff Clark, Ishikaji Mikolaev, Rustin Caraccio, Daniel Barger, and then we got other drivers like Alex Grant. They will only be competing in split C, as does the likes of Keiko Takaboshi, Angela Sims, and Hinoji Taiyo. These drivers will be racing in the Honeyworks race first before they'll be competing in split C. And as for the rest of the drivers here, they have already competed in splits A and B, and they're just going to be treating this race as a fun race for them to just attend to, basically. It's no real pressure for the split A and B drivers, but for the split C drivers, they're just gonna hope that their cars are not mangled, because they're immediately gonna have to bring their cars over for the split C race. Anyways, just want to showcase everyone the points format here, in case everyone is not familiar with how we do the rules. You can just read here. We've already explained this in full detail in the previous stream. Put simply, in-class cars are not going to be able to score points. Battles for the JP class cars. Qualifying time due to 10 minutes. Now, one place are expected, but the Honeyworks race will see an exception. And also, we might show modified championship standings and all that stuff. And we might be thinking of showing you all the championship order, but again, this is the Honeyworks race, so it's not going to be very, very relevant. So we're just going to move on to qualifying. I'm Mamashita Reza in the commentary booth. Welcome everyone to the day 2 of the Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Fuji, and this time we're going to be starting off with the Honeyworks Invitational, which we're about to finally start. First cars out on track. I'm Mamashita Reza in the commentary booth, and alongside me, of course, is Zeke Wimberly as usual. See, now have 36 cars in the field. What are your thoughts?
What are my thoughts? Well, my thoughts are that hopefully we won't have a repeat of Split B, even though I believe we're on the same start. But whatever, I'm sure it was just a fluke last time, and that we will have something that isn't necessarily silly. We have a bit of a shortened race right now, which means pit stops I don't think are necessary unless don't know, maybe the driver miscalculated their fill or something. It's just blunders, whatever.
Okay.
Just hopefully it's a somewhat serious formal race.
Alright, Z. Just wanted to check your audio though because you're a bit muffled. But anyways, we got first cars out on track. Kento Kai in the number 85 Hakos Bale's car. Of course, Bay has been very dramatic as she is basically in the stage 2 of the Hololive Fest concert, so very nice to see that Kento Kai has also been showing up. Hinoshi Taiyo, one of the drivers who will be competing in the Honeyworks race before immediately moving on to Split C. She'll need to find a way to leave a mark. Anyways, we're gonna go on board with the ID class car of Hinoshi Taiyo for a lap here in Fuji Speedway. Of course, you notice that the final corner before the start finish line, Hinoshi Taiyo was looking for the late apex. That would mean that she's gonna try to accelerate as early as possible in order to maximize her time on the straights. And now coming into turn 1. Oh, a bit of a braking there coming into the first corner, and you can see here she has a good arc on it. Flat out at turn 2. Coming into Coca-Cola here, only a slight dab on the brake before you just steer a bit of a left. And then coming to this very long and windy 100R. Not exactly windy, but it's a very long corner, 100R. And you can see here the billboard coming to the hairpin brake just before. And now you're accelerating yourself past the 300R and now coming into Dunlop. Use the Dunlop billboard as the braking zone, brake markers for you to move on to the more technical side of Fuji Speedway. 53.678 for Hinoshi Taiyo as she moves on into 13. Coming into Net's corner, which is right over here. And you can see she's really trying to arc the corner very, very well. And now coming into the final corner, Panasonic brake and turn at the same time before trying to go for the late apex and accelerate as early as possible. That will be Hinoshi Taiyo's lap here in Fuji Speedway, representing the number 69 Hoshidova Muna car. Let's see where she ends up.
Oh, 1:55.282, which is a solid run, I believe. About 2 seconds off target lap time, though. Speaking of target lap time, Tassie not. Did they get a target lap time? Sorry, I'm still a little tired right now. Is my audio still muffled, by the way?
All right. Remember to plug your headset if you're not plugging it in already. But yeah. We're now seeing some improvements in the lap times here. Alderson Tannerau have now jumped himself up into the provisional pole. Obviously, Tannerau just wanted to share with you all about his poor run of form, especially in Hololive GT3. A lot of it is mainly due to luck. But the fact that he's the only driver in the qualifiers in Hololive GT3 that was unable to score points and would eventually not make it into the Studio Series for Tannerau, him qualifying up front here in the Honeyworks race is a good start for what should be a great weekend. Hopefully, he'll be able to continue his good performances from here.
And looking at performances, yeah, everyone here, at least in the top 4, or just everyone in general, having fairly decent lap time. We have 180, 123, 937, kind of setting a decent target lap time. Rohan 282, 249, just overall good lap times.
And right now we're looking into a bit of update here. Riba have now stolen the provisional pole time again from Tannerau. Now it's going to be even more drivers setting faster lap times here. Lorenzo Ricci now sets himself into the provisional pole. Now this is more like it when it comes to target lap times here. As you can see here, 123.915. So the target lap time should be beaten already, which is already interesting. More drivers continuing to improve their lap times. You can see here Kizuhara Leo, who's about to race again in Split C. Looking at more drivers setting their times. Got Daniel Barger now up in 8th place. More drivers continuing to jump up the field. This is Rashim Karasha now up in 3rd. Fumi now is up to 9th. More drivers amongst the 36 will get their lap times in. The best in-class driver is actually Hanari Miyuki here, as we're seeing on screen. She's currently having a face-off with another JP class driver. She's currently the best out of the in-class cars for now, with a 4/10 of a lap slower than Lorenzo Ricci's whole time.
Yeah, and that is by no chance by no means a bad lap time whatsoever, with it being a 1:24.2 low 3, which is, I think, almost target lap time. I would like to notice that Riba has taken provisional pole at the moment, which means Riba is up for potentially a double whammy, because actually I lied, Ricci just stole pole again.
Well, Lorenzo Ricci has already scored a win in the Sepang Grand Prix, but has failed to defend his race win in a points-paying format in the previous Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split A race. Meanwhile, we're looking at more drivers shuffling up the field. Johan Sinful, who was quite fast early on, but was mired by strategy errors, is now up into 7th place. We'll talk about race strategies a bit later here, or lack thereof. As you can see, Rustin Karasha continues to absolutely perform in the lapless darkness machines.
Yeah, and honestly, I think we have, I believe, a JP to lock out right now, which honestly shouldn't be surprising, as it is JPs that are, for the most part, the main showstoppers. I'd have to argue, except for, what am I rambling about, honestly?
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, Z, we aren't able to hear you much, so you might want to turn up the styles. Anyways, the Honeyworks live concert would see 29 of the 34 or available JP members participating in this invitational, and only 4 ID members and 3 EN members. And for the 3 ID members that will be competing in Split C, like as we mentioned, they're going to be using this time to make sure that they are able to get themselves very, very sharp. And currently, as it stands here, Rustin Caraccio is really turning up the heat for basically everyone involved. And you can see here, Rustin Caraccio believes that his lap time is good enough for him to be in pole position. Now, one might say this may be complacency, but I think Rustin Caraccio has a pretty good gap between himself and 2nd place Lorenzo Ricci. Of course, Caraccio being a local boy racing in his one of his home races. It's very nice to see him perform very well here. So while we have Z trying to readjust things, we're gonna be running out the field right now. We're about to finish. Yeah, something.
Am I okay?
All right, you're better. So back.
What did I miss?
Alright, so basically just to round out what's happening currently in this 36 car qualifying, we're looking at a bit of a surprising non-hard hitters like Jeff Clark. Ayame has been preferring the bright uniform, and as such the Formula Hololive car should in theory be very good, but Jeff Clark currently down in 30th place is quite surprising.
Yeah, and so far, as this week, just Jeff Clark, what's going on, man? I am so
Oh yeah,
I'm off today.
All right, so we're gonna be telling you a bit of a story about Jeff Clark right now. Jeff Clark, of course, having a bit of a just gonna need to check what's going on with the hang on, we're going to pause this. We're going to pause the stream for a while. Just wanted to check if everything is okay. Everything is okay. It looks like we're not lagging right now. Alright, so we're back. So Jeff Clark, as we've mentioned here, he's currently down in the bottom portions of the qualifier standings, despite IMA prioritizing the bright uniform, so it's a bit of a shock to see Jeff Clark not performing very well. Meanwhile, we're finishing this qualifying session here. We're not going to be seeing any improvements from anyone yet. Rustin Caraccio is going to be set to qualify on pole position. Lorenzo Ricci is about to finish his lap, and as you can see here, he's quite far ways off from pole position as it stands.
Yeah, and honestly, we have some, it doesn't look any different. We have the strong contenders from Split A and Split B kind of within their leagues of their own right now, with Kurashio being a surprise pole setter, as I believe Kurashio is gonna basically this is their warm up for Split C. But we have Richi, Iba, Fumi, a lot of strong contenders that did pretty decently. Well, Fumi did decently until they messed up their pitting, but we're not going to talk about that.
Anyways, what we should be talking about is Kizuhara Leo and Crystal Salmon moving up to 4th and 6th respectively, bumping up multiple drivers down a few positions. Also, Isekai Mikolev now up into 9th place. So with that out of the way, we're going to be ending this qualifying session right here before we're going to be moving on into the race previews, and that should be the case. All drivers have crossed the line here. We haven't been seeing much improvements, and it's a confirmation. Rustin Crosser is going to be sitting on pole position for the Honeyworks Invitational race. So we're going to be checking in the starting lineup here for the Honeyworks race with 36 drivers strong. Rustin Crosser currently in pole position for the Lapless Darkness number 39. Lorenzo Ricci makes it second for Hosho Marine. Kaminari Riba sets third for Shishiro Botan, the Split A race winner. And Kizuhara Leo starts fourth for Murasaki Shion. Fumi starts fifth for Sora alongside Aski's Crystal Salmon in sixth. Sora's row 3. Tyler Williams, who was one of the strong contenders in the Split A race, starts at 7. And Sean Pauly, representing Corny, who had an amazing cartwheel. A front flip. No hands. That was actually quite amazing from Corny. I just hope that Sean Pauly can do some heroics. Sakaji Mikola starts 9 for Sakura Miko alongside Ed Sky, 10 for Kazama Iroha. Sinful starts 11 for Matsuri alongside Jeff Rohan in 12th. And Tanarel starts 13th alongside Shakev Reza, 14th for Okayu and Nenen respectively. Barbie starts 15th for Suisei alongside Goodwin, 16th for Okamimiyo. Hanari Miyuki is the first ID class car up in the field with 17th with the Kobo Kananairo number 40. Again, another cartwheel for Kobo. Dusium starts 18th for Omar Polka. 19 goes to Rim Olgo. Let's see if we can have a redemption from a poor race in Split B with the Ozoros bar number 48 alongside Fabio Mendes in the number 54 Akui Koyori car. Michael Turner starts 21st in the Shirogai No number 08, and Momashade Reza starting 22nd in his last race for Himimori Luna in Formula Hololive. Alex Grant starts 23rd for Yukana Lamy in 23rd alongside Mama Kashi 24th for Tsunamaki Watame. Yucheon starts 25th for Takane Louis alongside Richie Raw, 26th for Shirakami Fubuki. Goyana starts 27th for Usada Pecora alongside Sobyong, and 28th for Shiranui Flair. 29th goes to Keiko Takaboshi in the number 13 Oli car. And then we also have Korika Mendes 30th for Takanashi Kiara. Jeff Gart starts 31st in being the second last JB class car for Ayame. Angela Simmons 32nd for Anya Melvisa. 33rd goes to Hinochi Taiyo for Hoshino Muna. Kento Kai 34 for Hako's Bales. Not the race he's currently having in mind. And on rounding up the field here is Ryu and Shongo representing Sakamata Chloe and Gargura respectively. So Z, before we're gonna start this race, I want to hear your thoughts.
Well, it is not the ID's race so far, although Miyuki is probably our best international competitor. The other IDs are kind of struggling at the moment, and I also find it really silly that Holux Laplace in first place, and then Rilu, representing Sakamoto Chloe, I believe, is in last place. So we have a Holux on both sides of the thing. Anyway, the main people to focus on, I believe, is Riba, Ricci, and obviously Kurashio. These are our top 3 that I think are going to win personally, and that is all.
Anyways, just wanted to highlight a bit about Kurashio. We're going to be talking about that later. Kurashio has been performing very, very well in both Hall GT3 and Formula Hall, but that's all we're going to say for now, as we're about to get this race finally underway. You can see here 36 cars lining up on the grid. Russian Kurashio, of course, currently sitting on pole position, and Lorenzo Ricci alongside him in second. It's going to be the start of the Honeyworks Invitational race, 22 laps only this time from the original 44, but that doesn't matter. We're going to get this race officially underway, and it's a very, very okay start for multiple drivers involved. Frame rate drops, apologies for that. And there's a spin! There's a spin already at the start, and that looks like at Sky. And it looks like he has already collected the field. He's already collected Michael Turner. Oh my goodness, that was a very messy start. Looks like there was a collision not even before turn 1, and that's gotta be heartbreaking for both Ed Sky and Michael Turner. Their races ended before it even reached turn 1, but meanwhile we're gonna have to focus at the front. That's Rustin Carrascio leading, Lorenzo Ricci, Kizora Leo's now up into 3rd, Fumi 4th, Riba 5th, Paulie 6th, Salaman 7th, Williams 8th, Jeff Rohan 9th, Alcern Tanra currently fighting Mikolai for the top 10.
Yeah, and Carraccio's start was really good. They're already at about 6/10 of a second out of a gap. It's only lap 1 right now, and that'll only continue to expand. Speaking of expanding, I believe Antonaro is trying to take a position, I believe, from Mikolev, or maybe it's Ditto, I don't even know. But it does seem that Antonaro is trying their very best, although I think they have a bit of disadvantage. What is going on?
Oh, you can see Antonaro straddled the curbs there at the exit of Net's corner, and now you can see all the drivers just jostling for positions here. All of them are just trying to find a way past each other. It's basically a straight race for whatever, because you can see here everyone is just gonna try to fight off against each other. And you can see Antonaro is gonna be passed in the slipstream by what would be So Byung-eun now this time. Or is that Johan Sinful? Our apologies there. Anyways, lap 2 of this race, you can see here Rustim Carrascio now currently up in the lead still. And you can see here, oh, there's Jay Goodwin and Daniel Barger now this time.
My VO no. I don't think the track was meant to hold this many cars, although it does not. It seems like we don't care enough, despite this safety infraction. But anyway, back to speaking of crashes, Michael Turner has not been having very fun races. They crashed out last race, I believe, and then they crashed out on this race without even coming back. So just not been very good for Michael Turner.
Well, there was one silver lining from Michael Turner's this weekend so far, is that he actually finished 10th in the Split A race, so nothing is actually lost, nothing is fully lost on this weekend so far. But as you can see here, part of the thing has, but you know, his weekend has been taking a huge beating, and I'm not going to be surprised if, let's say, he's going to take a very long break from this. And by long break, I mean only like 2 weeks. Meanwhile, Shazan Reza has to fend off his fellow Subaru Luna teammate Rem Olgor. And you can see both Luna and Subaru raced alongside each other. I mean, performed alongside each other in the Fifth Fest Stage 2. You can see here Rem Olgor being pushed off by Shazan Reza, I believe, almost into the pit wall. But Shazan Reza, it of course gives him enough space, and that should be Olgor now up into 16th place. But meanwhile, we might be seeing even more battles between DuCM and Hanari Miyuki.
Yeah, Miyuki has, I believe, shot up 3 positions for the ID class, who right now seems like the only top, the savior of the ID class cars right now, as they are hopefully gunning for DuCM in the near future. We'll have to wait and see where that goes. Speaking of where we're going, Carrascio has gone quite far, at putting about a 1.5 seconds between them and Ricci. Riba is wait, where did Riba go? Riba went into 5th somehow. Wow.
Yeah, right now we're looking into Rustin Carrascio already building up an early lead. If Carrascio can basically lock out the wins in both races today, that will be a very amazing for Carrascio. Of course, Carrascio is looking for his first win in ARO competitions. He's already had his first podium in both Formula Hololive and Hololive GT3 in the same month, if I'm not mistaken. That was the Sepang Grand Prix and the Okayama 400, basically grabbing the 3rd place finishes for Laplace Darkness. And speaking of Hololive GT3, Rustin Carrascio was very consistent and very quick. Now he was able to basically lead the qualifiers standings with relative ease, and you can see here that his qualities as a consistently fast driver is absolutely showing in his ability to drive his car with calm, with a good amount of calmness and precision, as you can see here. That's the quality of a race car driver that you might want to see. Meanwhile, we have Richie Rod dropping down to 20th place, being overtaken by Alex Grant.
And with this race though, calm and collected is anything you kind of, well, obviously you want to be calm and collected, but with how short this race is, you got to be a little bit more aggressive if you want to gain positions well, not super quickly, but enough positions to score like a decent amount of points, because we only have about 22 laps and we're on lap 4, I believe, as we speak. So we're trying. Our drivers really need to try their best, be quick, efficient, and basically calculated.
Anyways, we're still looking into potential driver battles here. Right now, there are no potential driver battles. If you notice the timing tower just being messing with us, that's just a timing tower being a bit messy. But anyways, we're looking into currently the drivers at the back. Actually, the drivers at the back, Jake Goodwin is back, Ed Sky is back, Daniel Barger, Michael Turner, who were involved in that lap 1 crash. Well, Michael Turner and Ed Sky, that is. And for the lap 2 crash between Daniel Barger and Jay Goodwin, that is not looking good, because if I'm not mistaken, Daniel Barger actually started high up inside the top 10, and then suddenly they were involved in a crash that basically put them out of contention for the race win.
If they started top 10, I don't think they could have crashed with Goodwin then. So if they were top 10, they crashed into the wall, and then Goodwin was just like collateral damage. That would be the only explanation. So I don't think they started necessarily all the way up in the top 10. I think they started maybe in the top, like the high top 10s.
So anyways, yeah, alright, so a bit of a refresher on to some of the more specialized standings here. We're going to be checking in the ID class and the EN class, basically the in-class, the international cars. Hanari Miyuki currently leads the field 5 seconds ahead of Corey Rico Mendez and Angela Sims. And then speaking of Corey Rico Mendez, he is actually doing very well there to lead the EN class. Of sure, he's only competing against 2 other members like Kento Kai and Sean Go. But you can see here, leading your class is still leading your class. Meanwhile, we're looking at Kento Kai and Keiko Takaboshi, both of them having history with each other. They've raced each other in multiple leagues other than the ARO. And now you can see here, both of them are locking horns between each other. You can see Kento Kai trying to hang around the outside at Coca-Cola corner coming to 100R. It looks like Kento Kai manages to win this battle so far.
Yeah, and Kai is a very calculated driver, very consistent driver. I don't know what place they are in the overall standings, but do we have the exact place number on them?
Well, remember that this is only an invitational race. No drivers will score any points. And with that being said, these for basically the JB class driver, they're just driving this for leisure purposes. Of course, there are basically showcasing the Honeyworks side of things. And now you can see here Lorenzo Ricci now actually has the fastest lap of the race, still far away from Rustin Caraccio, as you've noticed here. And now you can see probably some battles here between Hofumi and Kaminari Reba, one of the stalwarts in Formula Hololive against the more recent race winner in the JP class, at least the overall winner. You can see here Fumi manages to defend against Reba very well. Meanwhile, looking into more battles, maybe, but I don't think there are any battles here, but there might be a side-by-side battle further up. That is currently Johan Sinful and Kaminari Reba, Maverick Duciem managing to try to put Sinful at bay, and it looks like it's a great defensive move from Duciem.
Yeah, but although I'm pretty sure Sinful won't let up their charge, obviously, trying to gain, positions, even if there are no points, it's still very fun to get the bragging rights that our drivers so rightly deserve.
Meanwhile, just looking at the rest of the field here, we have Johan Sinful still currently in 13th place, trying to find some space. He's trying to find a gap to DCM. Meanwhile, looking into Kaminari Reba, who is still actually getting close to Ho Fumi. The gaps between Reba and Fumi have consistently been under 0.5 of a second, and now we might be seeing basically a choo-choo train between Fumi, Reba, and Polly for the top 4 spot. Reba is, of course, getting close, but you can see here they are getting close enough to potentially think of an overtake. But as you can see here, unfortunately, Reba is not close enough.
Yeah, and looking at the times, they're about a tenth of a second behind Polly's and Fumi's lap time. So Reba does still have time to make up that pace, but Polly is catching up relatively quickly. And speaking of catching up, Mendez, with an S by the way, is starting to catch up to Shakif Reza, only about 0.2 of a second behind at the moment. Hopefully trying to get that 14th place just for, you know, the extra bragging rights.
Yes, and as you can see here for the rest of the field, looking at Leo, Ricci, the current top 3 is currently pretty okay right now. And for Kizaru Leo, he has been showing good glimpses of performances in Fuji Speedway. Of course, he would like to be synonymous with Fuji Speedway being the peak of Japan, and no, literally the elevation peak of Japan. And of course, Kizaru Leo wanted to channel that inner style. And also, given that he is a Shioko, obviously winning for Murasaki Shion at Fuji Speedway would be a dream come true, and obviously he already did just that in the 2023 Our Bright Parade 500 at Fuji Split B race. He's gonna try to gun for the Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split C win this time.
Yeah, this is just their warm-up at the moment, and I believe with Split C they actually score a few points, which the ID members can steal point positions, by the way, as well as the ENM, so you gotta watch out for that. But for Leo, 3rd place for their warm-up is actually pretty solid, and as we speak at the moment, it will stay that way for a long while, with Fumi being about 2 whole seconds behind. But transition.
Anyways, just wanted to check on the rest of the field here. Right now, we're only going to be looking at this on a JP standpoint, as you can see here. Just wanted to showcase you where the in-class cars have been at the moment. Hanari Miyuki only in 14th place. Mendez and Sims currently 21st and 22nd. The first of the international cars who will be competing in Split C right now is actually Sims, who is currently in 22nd. Takaboshi and Taiyu are currently 26th and 27th, which basically raises a bit of a concern if, let's say, we want to see these cars actually perform. And especially for Hinochi Taiyu, who has been quite vocal about not being able to really contest inside the top 10 frequently. She has been pretty vocal about it. I mean, it's probably a deserving, or rather justified, given that Hinochi knows that she is able to perform, especially when she took over the Fubuki car for 4 races in the postseason. And you can see here that she's trying her best to adjust, but you see these two cars are just built different.
Yeah, I actually, as a technical driver with the ARL, I used to run the Koyori car a lot, and I sucked in the Koyori car. Like, I think I scored like maybe 2 top 10s in like my whole, like, I think couple months of the Koyori car. So, but with the Fana car, for some reason, I'm somewhat decent with it. So, well, every car is completely different. It has like its own quirks and everything. It's a lot kind of like riding a horse, where like each horse completely handles completely differently. It has its own little kinks, quirks, whatever.
And speaking of which, we are not going to be counting out in some fun topics that we can talk about while this race progresses. You mentioned horses. When can we have a horse VTuber in Hololive coming? This is an honest question.
Never, ever.
Never. Oh
horse
yeah.
Girls are not real.
I know.
Horse girls aren't real.
Well, in one sense, yes, they are virtual. So. Maybe if we have a horse themed Hololive member at the very least, like not like just in a variant outfit, but as a full-on theme. Like for example, Uma Musume, the gacha game, where you can basically get gachas of horse girls and all stuff.
Nobody knows what you're talking about, bro. Except maybe one person in the chat. Nobody knows what you're talking about.
No, I mean, we're talking about, let's say, if people have heard of Umamusume Pre-Derby, you know, the horse girls series, you know, the gacha games, and they also have an anime about horse girls racing, like people betting on horses and all that stuff, but you can imagine the horses as girls. But then again...
No, we don't know.
Alright.
We don't.
Alright, you can keep your secrets. So anyways, right now with this being just a warm-up and just a flat-out race to the finish and no expected pit stops, we're going to be seeing the race order just stay as it is for now. As far as the progress chart goes, ignore some of the changes so far, as that it might be a bit misleading, because Crossing Carrasco is doing very well to convert his pole position into what should be a race win in the invitational race. Lorenzo Ricci, of course, staying put in that second place spot. Kizaru Leo currently gaining a position, and Fumi as well, with Riba losing 2. Meanwhile, also looking at Corey Rico Mendez, who's gained 9 positions, and Angela Sims gaining 10, mostly because they were gaining advantage of basically the pileup that was literally at the start of the race.
To quote you, they actually just purposefully messed up their qualifying so they could beat the newbies at the back. You know, like Shaz and Red said last race, right? Am I right?
Well, in one sense, yes. In the last race, Shazran was actually qualified. He actually qualified last, but did try his best to actually showcase some of his skills. He did finish 13th in his last points-paying race for Himari Luna. Meanwhile, we have Corey Rico Mendez trying to make a move against Richie Rod. But anyways, back to Shazrin. This is actually his final race for Himori Luna before he concedes his right to another driver. And right now, speaking of another driver, Wrestling Crusher with the fastest lap, 1:24.154. So right now, no one is really thinking about pushing or making ballsy moves, but except Daniel, some of the 4 drivers who were involved in the lap 1 and lap 2 collisions. Ed Sky and Michael Turner. Of course, they did suffer some damage, but were able to continue. Barger and Goodwin, I believe, were involved in incidents on lap 2, which put both of them in, which have both of them being put into a spin. So, anyways, just looking at the order here, right now, nothing has really changed. So, we're gonna take your time, everyone's time, to basically just take a chill. And you can see here. Oh, maybe you can see here. There's a battle.
Wait, there. Where? Oh shoot, this is what I've been training for. Riba trying their best to take over Summon's position, which isn't happening, although Riba does have the a slight advantage in, which I think they're losing as we speak right now. Riba has just not been having a good race despite winning I believe Slippy Championship, which kind of sucks for the Lazy Dianas. It seems that they are going back to sleep, although they are not giving up just yet. But it's not happening.
Well, it's happening actually. You can see here there's gonna be a 2-wide battle on 2 ends. Just really want to showcase you a bit of corrections there, Z. The Botan car actually won the Split A race of the Capture the Moment Grand Prix. And speaking of battles here, side by side goes Salma Man and Kaminai Riba. 1-2 versus 4-3, and then also have Tyler Williams trying to fend off Jeff Rohan. Jeff Rohan also showing some very decent pace in that Koyami Towa number 10.
Yeah, I did not like looking at that. Anyway, there is just a lot going on now. I thought this was supposed to be a peaceful race, but no. 7 through 10, just kind of, well, not 7 through 10. Just 3. Why not be like, no, I'm tired.
Alright, just a bit of a clarification here. Salman, Riba, Rohan, and Williams have been embroiled in the battles of their own. It's going to be a 4-horse race for what should be 6th place. And now we can see here the Kanatoa cars of Tyler Williams and Jeff Rohan going toe-to-toe between each other. And now you can see it's going to be Jeff Rohan taking a win. And it looks to me that So Byung-eun is going to be battling with Yu Chae-yeon, 2 Korean drivers going head-to-head. It's going to be So Byung-eun on the inside of the first part of the Dunlop chicane, and now you can see Chaeyeon is going to be very much up to the task. Karasha continues to set a fastest lap of the race, and he's going to be a clear favorite to get a Grand Slam.
No, who does? with the 4-second gap that he's gained on Ricci. Ricci is not catching up anytime soon. There's less than half of the race remaining, as I believe 7 laps to go. So 69 is really trying to make it count.
Speaking of making it count, here's Mama Shadar Reza having a very, very meaningful battle with his well-known sparring partner, Rim Olgor, both of them representing Himawari Luna and Ozora Subaru respectively. Shadar Reza is going to hang around the outside of Coca-Cola corner, and now you can see Shadar Reza does very, very well to put Olgor off of his tracks, and now Olgor is going to be under pressure from Alex Grant. Alex Grant, currently representing Lamy, is also due to participate in the Split C race coming up. Alex Grant's going to try to find an opportunity to make the pass,
which does seem to be very plausible. Only about a 0.4 of a second behind Olgor, although that gap might fade in a little bit. It is up to Grant to really seize this opportunity through.
And looking into opportunities here, we could be seeing a few more gaps left, right, and center. And just wanted to showcase to you about the current situation in the international scene. We have Shango currently down in 33rd, having a pretty lonely race for himself, at least in terms of, let's say, the gaps, because I think something happened to Shango while we're at it, because he should not be in 33rd. He should be in around 32nd. Speaking of 32nd, he was actually overtaken by Michael Turner, so a bit of a reversal of fortunes there for the Gura number 99, as he's not been at his best, but Michael Turner is just showcasing that he has pace to be at the front, and now he's gonna try to immediately clear Muhammad Cashew, and nearly getting clipped there by the number 3 car and almost causing an airplane accident. Michael Turner's being very, very quick there. Come back from the back once again.
Although the extent of this comeback can only go so far, as now they have to clear a 4-second gap between them and Rilu, which definitely could be an issue. But while we were on the topic of Shango, I have to say that they're probably used to being overtaken by now with all the upsets that have been happening for them lately. I gotta sting a little bit.
So, anyway, speaking of battles, we have Angela Sims and So Byung-eun having their battle for quite the amount of time now, and now you can see it's going to be Byung-eun's win, and now you can see Angela Sims continues to fall down the order as she's about to be overtaken by Yu Cheon around the outside. Whether or not Cheon can hold it will be a question that will be answered in the next 15 seconds, as Angela Sims, with the superior straight line speed of the Formula Hala International car, is going to try to defend Yu Cheon and that more agile Formula Hala JP car, which is better on the corners due to their lighter weight. And as you can see here, the in cars are still good in the corners, but it's just that it pales in comparison to the JP class cars.
Yeah, and this does look like a victory for Cheon right now, which kind of unfortunate. Sims did gain quite a few positions, but so I'm sure one isn't too bad. But
there's a spin. Shakib Reza has been spun by Johan Sinful, and it's gonna cause some pile-ups here, and now that will be Shakib Reza, the next driver out, and it looks like it has collected Rim Olgor. Oh dear, for the second race in a row.
They deserved it.
Well, Shakib Reza obviously being spun by Johan Sinful, who hasn't had the cleanest of races today, as he's just pushing off Shakib Reza and Olgor and all that stuff. And when you look at that accident here, it's basically how do we say this? Johan Sinful tagging Shakib Reza into a spin. Shakib Reza tries to get back onto the track. Everyone else was able to clear except Rim Olgor, who collected Shakib Reza in the process. And both of them would have damage. They will be going back to the pits for repairs, and they should be able to continue, but their chances of competing even inside the top 30 will be gone. Oh, and that's Angela Sims once again.
Yeah, what happened to Sims?
Oh, that's Angela
Oh.
Sims. She has been spun by another driver, and that caused even more headaches. Angela Sims is able to rejoin. So it looks like this so-called peaceful race has taken a very, very chaotic turn for the worse. Coming into the final few laps.
Sinful.
Yeah, Johan
I blame
Sinful.
It's in his name. It's in his name. We actually let a demon into the ARO.
Oh dear! If you think Matsuri is just absolutely pushing it, then Sinful is also in that mood as well. We also might be seeing a side-by-side battle with Sean Pauli and Hofumi for fourth place. Sean Pauli now trying to make another bold move down the inside into turn 1. Now imagine Sean Pauli being able to defend his fourth place, but which it will not be the case. But also imagine this: Sean Pauli hitting the curb so hard that he basically put his car into a somersault. But anyways, the battle is not going to be over yet. Sean Pauli is on the inside of 100R, which will be the outside line for the hairpin. And as you can see here, Sean Pauli does very well on the exit, and you can see here that's a very bold move by Sean Pauli. That's nothing short of expectations for Pauli to make absolutely wild moves on the racetrack.
Yeah, but it's just over for Fumi, as Fumi just can't find an opening at the moment, so they will have to consolidate their fifth place as Pauli moves up into the standings and maybe can blitz 2.5 seconds in 3 laps, you know? Like, well, they're not, Pauli's gonna have to settle for fourth, basically.
Anyways, speaking of settling for positions, Kanto Kai is gonna be looking to already make the dive bomb on Richie Rod. If you now he's gonna be he's really turning up the styles in terms of wanting to make bold moves. There was an attempt to go down the inside of Richie Rod, catching him unaware, but of course Rod knew what he was doing, so he's able to basically defend his position in what should be 20th place overall. Just wanted to give a bit of a revision in what is currently in the in class. Hanari Miyuki still leads the in standings for the class drivers, leading the ID class as well. But also we want to talk about Kanto Kai going side by side with Richie Raw. He wants that 20th place back, and will he be able to grab it? We'll have to wait and see.
As it looks right now, it's gonna be a no, as Kanto Kai does have a bit of a disadvantage, but that straight line speed might help out a little bit. Still side by side, just fighting tooth and nail for a position that barely matters, especially because there's no points in this race. But they're still going on and on.
They're still going on and on here, and as far as Richie Rod goes, he has now lost a position to Kanto Kai, and currently Cheon is going to be hot on the heels for Rod's position. Now we're going to be checking the replays after this race to see what has happened to multiple drivers. We already look at 4 incidents that have happened throughout the first race. Also, we did mention that currently we have Angela Sims down in 34th for some reason. I thought there's like 36 cars. If you want to know the answer to that, we're going to have to take a look into the current situation. Also, if you notice also, just wanted to check the current order here. Shaki Reza currently down in 35th after he was spun out by Johan Sinful. Sims also being involved in an accident, which Johan Sinful was also involved. Daniel Barger and Jake Goodwin involved in a lap 2 crash. Michael Turner and Ed Sky involved in a lap 1 crash. So these are the drivers who have had very eventful races and not for the wrong reasons. So it's a bit concerning for some of the parties involved.
What else is concerning is we only have about 2-3 laps left to go, so our drivers are really going to need to finish up any attack plans they have relatively quickly in order to get those short-term gains, you know. But by the looks of the timetables, we only have a few drivers that are going to be able to do that successfully as we go into our final lap.
And right now we have Sean Pauli already setting the fastest lap of the race so far, 1:24.013. Tyler Williams, though, is going to be looking for a move down the inside at that main straight against Jeff Rohan in a number 10 Tokoyami Towa machine. And speaking of which, we have also DuCM on side by side with Altzer and that's Isakaiji Mikolev. We have two battles side by side now. Also, I just realized Shazrin Reza has basically dropped down a few positions. Never mind that. That's because he was basically held up by the fact that his brother was basically serving as a blockade and he had to basically swerve in order to not avoid another accident. Speaking of which, final lap at this race, Rustin Carrasco has been very, very amazing so far. He has been showing in the ARO that he has got the skills to be a world beater, at least in the arrows context. Lapos Darkness aims for world domination. Russell Carrasco aims for domination within the ARO in all competitions. He's done it so far in Hololive GT3, but never has he been this close to a win. And a win he will obtain in the Honeyworks Invitational. Russell Carrasco wins it.
Yay! We all kind of saw that coming, but more or less, yay!
And Sean Pauli rounds out the fastest lap of this race with a 1:23.876. Tyler Williams is too far back to get close enough to Rohan, but for Maverick DuCM too, he was looking for an opportunity to get into the top 10, but it is just not there. Speaking of outperforming drivers here, with the in-class cars just not being able to perform, we also have Miyuki now up into 13th place. Looking at the rest of the drivers here, Sinful finishes 14th. Shazrin Reza will look to finish 15th in his final race for Himemori Luna. Talk about a swan song weekend this is.
Yeah, it's a crazy weekend, especially with the split B. This was a lot more of a tame race, though. Wasn't much really going on. There were a couple of notable events, but again, very chillaxed race.
Very chill race. We're gonna go look into the other drivers as a result soon, but just a reminder, this is the Capture the Moment Grand Prix Fuji weekend, and this race covers the Honeyworks live concert. Well, this race is in accordance to, coincides with the Honeyworks concert. So you saw the QR code in the bottom left of your screen. Scan the QR code if you want to have access to basically day 2 tickets. And if you want to have access to the Honeyworks live concert and the stage 3 concert coming up tonight. But then again, also we want to give it a bit of a disclaimer. We are not affiliated with Cover. We are not endorsed by Cover. This is mainly just us acting on our goodwill. And also we are not making money from this stream. So yeah, something like that. But anyways, back into the results. Rustin Carrasco wins for Lapos Darkness for the first time in his career. Unfortunately, this is an invitational race, so it's not a points paying race, so it may not count those the records. Anyways, Lawrence Ricci finally finishes second for Hosha Marine. Third for Leo and Shion. Sean Pauli finishes fourth for Corner. Hofumi rounds out the top 5 for Tokino's Hora. Sora's 5th and 6th for Crystal Salmon finishes 6th for ASCII. Kaminari Reba, the Split A race winner, finished 7th in the Invitational. Jeff Rohan finished 8th for Tokoyami Towa alongside Tyler Williams, 9th for Kanata. Mikolas finishes 10th for Sakaramiko. DuCM 11th for Polka. Antaro representing Okai finished 12th. Hanari Miyuki, the first of the in-class cars to cross the line, wins the ID class for Hanari for Kobo Kanaeru. Johan Sinful 14th, Wabia Mendes 15th for Matsuri and Koyo respectively. Shazad Reza in his final race for Himemori Luna after this, not exactly an illustrious career, but an explosive year, over a year for Himemori Luna in Formula Hololive. He ends it with a 16th place run in Fuji Speedway. Alex Grant 17th for Amane Kanata and Koy Rico Mendes 18th for Kiara. So Byung-eun and Kento Kai 19th and 20th for Flair and Hako's Bales respectively. Richie Rod 21st for Fubuki. Cheon 22nd for Flair. Takaboshi 23rd for Crazy Oli. Tayo 24th for Hoshinova Muna. Jeff Clark 25th for Ayame, 26th Daniel Goyena for Pecora, Rido 27th for Sakamoto Chloe. Apologies if we have to miss some of the drivers, but there's just so much to cover in so little time. Michael Turner, who was one of the first drivers involved in the accident, manages to again make a comeback to 28th for Shogai Noel. Casher 29th for Sonomaki Watame. alongside Sean Go, who did well enough to survive all of the onslaught to get himself back into 30th. 31st to Ed Sky after that lap 1 incident. Daniel Barker and Jake Goodwin were both involved in the lap 2 crash for representing Swiss A and B respectively. Hopefully Daniel Barker doesn't carry this luck into Split C. Angela Sims, 34 for Anya Melfisa, just 1 point below 33rd. Shaka Reza 35th for Bomosuzu Nene after being involved into an accident where he got spun by Johan Sinful. And Rim Olga got collected by Mama Shaki Reza in the ensuing process. He finished last for Ozora Subaru. And speaking of Olga, it's not been a very good weekend for him though. I mean, Subaru has been performing quite well, I mean, as she does. But for Olga this weekend, it's been lackluster. But anyways, before we get into the review, Z, I want to hear your thoughts.
I've already said my thoughts for the most part, but yeah, just a chill, fun little race with just kind of a lot of crashes, honestly, so I guess it wasn't that chill. But
alright.
For the...
Oh, you can continue.
Nah, it's cool.
Alright, so we're gonna check on the replays here to see what exactly happened on that lap 1 crash. So we're gonna be checking on that now. So here is the start, and as you can see here, everyone is doing so well until suddenly there was contact at the main straight. Oh, that was nasty. Just managed to keep himself off the wall, but you can see here, he tried to go back to the racetrack in a very, very funny manner, and that collected Michael Turner. So that's gotta sting for especially Michael Turner, especially I think given that he was a victim out of all this. And if you want to know who made the contact, it's Jeff Rohan.
Yeah, they just kind of gets pushed off a little bit, tries to recover. Recovery doesn't work, gets almost flipped over by Turner, but yeah, unfortunate. Well, I guess it was fortunate that they could get back into the race after all, and Turner even managed to get some gains out of it, so.
Anyways, let's see another angle here on Michael Turner to see what exactly happened here. You can see here, it didn't just collect Michael Turner, they also, looks like also Mohamed Cashew was collected, so that's also something that we needed to pay attention to that as well. Here's Michael Turner is on board.
But I don't think Turner necessarily... Let's see.
Never mind. He didn't make contact. He did not make contact with Mohamed Cashew. Looks like there was contact between Michael Turner and Richie Rod instead. Looks like Michael Turner braked to have avoiding action, but Richie Rod didn't saw Michael Turner brake abruptly. So let's see this again.
Yeah, it just seems like kind of gets pushed a little. Yeah, just kind of got pushed a little and then slams into the wall. Kind of nasty, not gonna lie.
Alright, so we're gonna see Richie Rod is on board before we move on to Cashew. So here's Richie Rod is on board at the start. You see Rod just tries to find some space here. Didn't expect Michael Turner to abruptly brake like that, and ooh. And speaking of which, it's very fortunate that Cashew and Rod was able to continue without any further damage. I mean, look at this.
Ooh. Yeah, just pile drives into him. Not like they had much time to react either, so that is definitely not Cashew's fault, I believe.
Well, this is one of the times where it does happen for you, sometimes it doesn't. So we're going to be taking a look into another incident, speaking of which, Daniel Barger and Jake Goodwin. So this one, it will be very, very weird here to see what exactly happened. And you can see here, it was a battle coming across the line. So we're going to be showing you the replay as to what happened exactly. So here's Barger against Jake Goodwin. Side by side, looks like there was contact between the two, and Hanari Miyuki was involved.
That's Miyuki got off scot-free, so.
Here's what happened. It's a 3-wide move. Oh, you can see here both drivers made contact, and ooh, that was interesting from Miyuki. Talk about chaotic. I mean, what were you expecting from Kobo? Anyways,
you're not supposed to go 3 wide in general, and I think Miyuki only got out of it because they were on the inside line. They were trying to find space, but there just simply wasn't any to like turn into, so they just kind of scuttled off the track.
Here's Daniel Barger's rear end on board. Ooh, you can see here Barger. Looks like he did suffer some damage there, but fortunately he would be able to get himself back, so should be good for split C. Here's another onboard for Barger.
But we have the 3 wide, going in 3 wide, and kind of spins out with that steering wheel. Yeah, that's really ugly.
Well, ugly indeed, but as we said, it could have gone absolutely worse. You can see here some context left, right, and center, but that's not going to be where we also want to pay attention to. So let's take a closer look into Jake Goodwin respectively. Here's what happened. Jake Goodwin just collected. Well, Jake Goodwin had almost nothing to do with the incident, but you can see here he was involved in a crash, and yeah, it happened just like that, so fast. Anyways, also just wanted to take a look into some of the other drivers who were involved in crashes. So let's take a look into Mohamed Shakif Reza and Johan Sinful. Mostly we're going to be paying attention to Mohamed Shakif Reza. So if you want to know what exactly happened between the two, here is your answer. So let's take a look about the scene.
Yeah, this is probably one of the biggest crashes of the whole race, and we'll have to see what happens here. Just downright push, okay.
Ooh.
And then they try to get back on, and causes a pileup on accident.
Well, that should be what happened to Shakib Reza and Rim Olgo, which is of course very unfortunate for both parties. And also another thing that we also wanted to take note is that immediately on that same lap there was an incident between Angela Sims and Rim Olgo again, as Rim Olgo tries to rejoin the race. Here's the incident.
Yeah, that's just. No, that was just can't even be disguised as like competition, because I felt like that was kind of a deliberate push by Allgore to try to get past. I don't know what was really going through their mind there, but
anyways, with that being said, we should be able to get this session finally over, as we are finally going to end this event with Rustin Carrasco getting the win. So with that out of the way, we're gonna have only a very short break before we're gonna start loading up Split C. So just need to check on the things. All right, we have a bit of a confirmation on the results. So we're going to be loading our way into Split C. Only 18 cars will be participating, and just wanted to confirm that we're gonna have to do a bit of adjustments. Just hang on a second. By around 10 a.m. Japan time, we should be able to start the qualifying session, but expect some delays to happen as we're trying to readjust things going on, because apparently some of our entrants are not properly entered in the Split C race. Fortunately, we're able to fix this before we're gonna get this thing properly underway, and right now it's going to be to go. So again, we're gonna wait for Split C to get to load. So anyways, we're gonna be taking like a 1 minute break, and then we'll be able to continue. So hopefully everyone will be able to continue on from here. Just gonna have a short break. Hello everyone, it's nice to see Mount Fuji on the horizon, and nearby is Mount Fuji, Fuji Speedway. Welcome everyone to, again, the Capture the Moment Grand Prix weekend. The Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Fuji continues off with one more race to host for the season. It's still round 2 for Formula Hololive Japan, and for the in cars it's still very much an invitation. We've already covered the track map in detail, so we won't be covering it again. But we are going to cover one thing that is a bit different from the rest of the surroundings. Is the Split C Spotter's Guide, which should be able to contain all of the 18 available cars for the Split C race. We have Alton Tannerau joining us for the Nekomata Kai number 5. Very cursed in Hololive GT3. He's looking to turn things around in Formula Hololive. Kizora Leo showcasing potential for Shion. And then we have Ali Fartoyo, who's also going to be racing in Split C for Minato Aqua alongside Jeff Rohan. For Tokoyami Toa, Crystal Salman will race for ASCII in the number 12 car, with Jeff Clark also joining in the Nakiri Ayame number 18. Richie Rod in the Shirakami Fubuki number 22. Nice artwork from her mama, Nagishira Mito. Very, very nice to see. Isakaji Mikolev, also one of the other Gen 0 members to participate in the Split C race, with Isakaji Mikolev representing Sakura Miko. So Rustin Karasio recently won the Honeyworks Invitational. Will he be able to double it with the Split C win for Lapis Darkness? Daniel Barger, one of the Gen 0 mates to race in the Split C event, racing for Hoshimachi Suisei. And then we also have Alex Grant for Yukana Lamy. Again, Cal Gibbons, the last of the 4 available Gen 0 cars remaining, who will be competing in the Split C race. And that should be all for the JP class. We're going to be moving on to the ID class with the ID members who have yet to participate in this weekend's live concerts. Kika Takaboshi for Crazy Oli, Angela Sims for Anya Mofisa, and Hinoshi Taiyo for Muna Hashirova. Now, a bit of a background for Muna, as she has not been her best in aero competitions as of late. As we mentioned, all of these cars, the INT cars and the JV cars, are different beasts. But we talked about that in full detail earlier on, so we won't be going in detail again. Anyways, that should be it for the EN ID class. And now for the EN class, it will be Ethan Burleson, Bernardo Santiago, and Zeke Wimberly in the roster. Ethan Burleson racing for Nanashi Mome, on which the Nanashi Mome post in the Adak-RMS account got viral for some reason, and Adak-RMS absolutely appreciates the publicity that he's been getting. Also, Bernardo Santiago for Watson Amelia, and Zeke Wimberly for Sarasvana, obviously the current record wins holder for Formula Hololive International. So with that being said, let's move into the standings for both splits. We haven't really updated it. We're just going to be showcasing the odds for Split C, as they're both spread in splits A and B. And apologies for the typo in the Jeff Clark in the Spotter's Guide. Anyways, we're going to be seeing some Split B C entrants. No Split C entrant has finished higher than 3rd this season in Formula Hololive Japan qualifiers so far. Mostly because it's already been taken by Richie, Damasne, Olger, and Cheon. So the best they can do is have Rustin Karasio in the Lapis Darkness car in 3rd place. And also Antara 4th in Split A. Looking into Crystal Salman and Colin Gibbons 9th and 10th in Split A. Also Alex Grant in 13th. Richie Rod and Jeff Clark down in 15th and 17th. Looking at the rest of the field here, we also have the likes of Jeff Rohan, who's currently 5th in Split B in regular qualifiers, alongside Isakaji Mikolev 6th, Leo 8th, and then we also have Daniel Barger down in 12th, Hartoyo 13th, and that should be it for the as far as the qualifier standings goes, as we're going to be moving back into intermission to start this qualifying session. So, Z, we're about to get this qualifying session, well, very, very brief qualifying session for Split C underway. I want to hear your thoughts before, as we're about to start another qualifying session.
Well, we already kind of got our fan favorites from the Honeyworks, so I'm pretty sure nothing has changed there. Although, looking in here, I can't say much, as again, we already have our fan favorites. Although I do expect some clean racing, and with less cars on the track, I am also expecting a lot less crashes, so nothing too crazy here.
Oh, and by the way, I'm just gonna need to check on a few things before we get this thing properly underway. We're gonna do a bit of a maintenance check. Just a slight pause. Just wanted to check what's going on in the content manager, and unfortunately, there are some issues that we need to properly rectify before we get this qualifying session back underway. So we're going to briefly red flag this session before, as we officially restart this whole thing. So apologies for the slight error here. It's happened again. It's happened again. So we can give us another 5 minutes before we properly resume this qualifying session. It's currently a red flag. So Z, just a bit of a story here about the Honeyworks race. So I understand you're not really a fan of the current weekend format for the other races, especially for the fact that some of the drivers are at serious risk of pitting 4 times. So, Z, I fear that this might be repeated again.
Oh
What?
boy.
Anyways, some people might find it entertaining due to the chaos, but others might find it a bit concerning because the driver who absolutely deserves it doesn't actually get to win. But then again, if you play your cards right in any of the circumstances, you're able to basically still get yourself in the right end of the stick. Anyways, we're getting this qualifying session officially back underway. And looks like, again, it's Crystal Salman back out onto the racetrack. Apologies if there's a black screen right now. We're just gonna load the screen here, and there we are. Crystal Salman back out on track. As you mentioned here, you mentioned favorites like Rustin Carrasco. You got any other like dark horse picks that you might suggest?
For dark horse, I'm not necessarily sure. We're gonna have to look for our, because I don't think any split C entrants, at least that I can remember, did exceptionally well. So we're gonna have to wait and see our current lineup for this qualifying session that's only about 10 minutes long. So
Also, we're gonna. Oh yeah. So so basically we've already covered like a few things already in terms of the favorites here. But let's say one thing that we haven't really covered here is about Daniel Barger. Obviously, we also have Hoshimachi Suisei, who is very much committed to the bright uniform, and only seeing Barger in 12th in the split B standings is also quite concerning.
Yeah, especially for such a beloved Gen Zero. They're a veteran for Hololive. The diamond in the rough. They are probably one of the most popular idols in the entirety of Hololive. To be completely honest, and seeing them only in 12th, they gotta pick up their game a little bit, you know, show that they know what to do when they're on the racetrack.
And finally, we are going to be seeing a hot lap from Daniel Barger exiting the final corner, as you mentioned here. Get a good exit from Panasonic to really make use of this 1.5 kilometer long straight. As we mentioned previously, it's almost akin to a mile covered in this one long straight as Daniel Barger starts this lap for the Hoshiomis. Now, coming into turn 1, as we mentioned here, he actually brakes quite earlier, just before the 100-meter board, mostly because he wants to really slow the car down and basically hook his car well enough into the next section here. And now coming to Coca-Cola, slight dab on the brake, get a good arc on it, and that's a great run into 100R already. 24.920 for his first lap. But here's a bit of a problem here. There might be lap traffic here. He brakes just right before the billboard, actually quite the distance before the billboard, just wanting to slow his car enough and basically judge his pace, gaps enough. Anyways, coming to the Dunlop chicane, he of course, like everyone else, brakes right at the billboard, and this is where Barger's gonna be held up. If he's unable to clear, then he's not gonna be setting a fast time, especially in this technical section where he's gonna be losing a lot of valuable time against the Hinoshi Taiyo that is in front of him. And now coming into the final corner, Panasonic. Let's see if Barger can do one more attempt on this lap, as he's currently being held up by Hinochitayo, who's about to start her flying lap.
Yeah, and Leo already setting the provisional pole, which was the target lap time of about a 123. Barger hitting a 126, largely because of the lap traffic, and Santiago obliterating the target lap time with a 123.705. Good stuff coming from our contenders.
Speaking of contenders, look at Alta Tanaro now going up into second place. Talk about reversals of fortune. I mean, he has been absolutely unlucky and just not there in Hololive GT3, not being able to get inside the points even in a 30-car points format. That just and we know why, because easily to put it simply, he was involved in accidents in all 4 qualifier races. Alta Santana was involved in accidents in all 4 of them. Talk about not being able to catch a break.
Speaking, well, who is able to catch a break is Richie Rod representing Giovanni Suzuki, 123.679, barely beating Santiago's at times. They did not perform very well at the Honeyworks, but they are stepping up here now where it matters in this point-setting race. Rod could be easily boosting their position up by 200 points if they play their cards right.
And also, just a bit of a note, Uchiura has actually improved on his second sector, and he's actually quite the ways off from the other driver in front, and I think that is the likes of... Just wanted to check back onto the screen here. Yeah, the cameras. Yeah, that's Isekai Mikolov in front. Looks like Richard is going to be continuing on with his lap with the toe and the slipstream basically helping him. She should be able to extend his place at the front, while Angela Sims completes a 123.670. Richard is able to immediately respond with a 123.519. The Sukomos are gotta be very excited about it. Yeah, of course, being a Sukombo yourself, you're also gotta be very giddy about it.
They are my main Oshi that I will dedicate my life savings to when they release merch that I'm probably gonna buy. So, yeah, I am very, very excited. And speaking, we have quite a shakeup of the leaderboard from the Honeyworks for our Split C contenders. Caraccio is in 9th right now instead of the first place they got last time. Rod, who was in 20th, I believe, is in first place. So we do definitely have a new lineup. Kizaharu Leo was very competent. I think they got 5th last race. They're in 5th now. So all in all, we have a relatively different top 3.
And it's going to be very nice to see indeed. Now we're looking at Kizuhara Leo also performing quite well again in Fuji Speedway for Murasaki Shion. Obviously, this is Kizuhara Leo's first time actually in Fuji Speedway. Just wanted to highlight this to everyone. It's Angela Sims' first time, Bernardo Santiago's first time, Leo's first time, also Rustin Caraccios' first time, Bertelson's first time, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, not Bertelson's first time. Looking into other drivers here who are making their first starts in Fuji, Barger and Ali Fartoyo, Jeff Rohan, and Hinochitayo. These guys are making their Fuji debuts. Meanwhile, the veterans like Rod and Tanarao and Leo currently 5th and 1/3 and 5th. We got those who are racing in Fuji for the first time. Sims and Santiago now up in 2nd and 4th.
Yeah, and Bertelsen and Selmerman jumping up a few positions right now, 7th and 10th respectively. So there is definitely still time to make a difference. And generally speaking, we have some decent lap times being set as we approach our 3/4 of the way done for the qualifier.
Anyways, just wanted to highlight a bit of an order for, let's say, the bottom 8 drivers here. We got Rustin Caraccio, the winner of the Honeyworks race in 11, Alex Grant 12, Zeke Wimberly 13th, currently the joint record wins holder in actually Formula Hololive in general. Just wanted to highlight this fact. Can't believe we actually have forgotten to report this, but in terms of points paying races, Zeke Wimberly is actually up there with Mohamed Shazran Reza as the record wins holder in Formula Hololive. While with Zeke Wimberly having 3 wins in Formula Hololive International and Shazran Reza having 3 points paying wins in Formula Hololive Japan.
Anyway, they are not performing as expected on this race, but then again, this is a invitational race for them, so they are playing this very casually. It's not very competitive for their setting. They're here to have a great time.
Well, tell that to Ethan Broderson, who's trying his best to get himself into the top 5. Now making it 3 in-class cars inside the top 5, and also we have also a special livery for Nanashi Mume. Well, not exactly a special livery, but a different logo on the side pods of the car. It's now a Japanese logo being used instead of the English logo being used in regular international competitions. This has been in place since the start of basically this weekend, and obviously the update has been, the Mume car has been viral apparently, repost after repost after retweets. And speaking of viralities, why not make this viral? Bernardo Santiago 123.485 still makes it 3 FHolo international cars on the top 5 spot, but now it's going to be an in-class car on pole position, and if Santiago can maintain his performance, he will be the first in car to basically qualify on pole for a race here in Fuji, since I believe Lance Oryx did last year in Fuji.
Yeah, just an overall lot of shockers, only beating them by less than, I think, 100 of a second. Well, not 100, I think 300. Yeah, 300 of a second, I believe.
Now, and as far as the success for the Watson Amelia cars in Formula Hololive are concerned, this is not exactly the most successful rides out there, but as far as luck is concerned, Santiago is absolutely ripping it for Watson Amelia, obviously not having the best stints in Hololive GT3 before Formula Hololive International for Ame. But in Hololive International, there are podium finishes after podium finishes. Santiago is well comfortable inside the top 10 for him, and now you can see him. Instead of him trying to complete his lap, he's just gonna bail into the pits, which leaves only 5 cars left. Hinochi Taiyo is Hinover in qualifying, as she's set to qualify only in 16th. Alton Tara now 4th, uses the slipstream to try to get something out of it, but no, he will only be good enough for 4th. Ali Fartoyo, Callum Gibbons, and Ethan Broderson, the last 2 cars out. Let's see what Gibbons can do. Gibbons is also going to be making a move into the pits. I think that should be it for qualifying. Santiago it might actually just be the pole sitter.
And as looking into the timetables for, you know, pole, top, whatever, we have a lot, kind of a shock, honestly. I was expecting something completely different, but honestly, I got surprised.
So, with that being said, that should be qualifying over. Apologies for the weird transition. Anyways, that should be the qualifying session over. The final qualifying session for the weekend concluded, and it will be an interesting front row with not a JP car up front, but an Int car up front. With that being said, let's take a look into the starting order for the Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Fuji Split C race. This time we have Bernardo Santiago starting on pole position for Watson Amelia for the first of his career in aero competitions. Richie Rod starts as the best JP class car in second for Shirakami Fubuki. Angela Sims for Animal Fissa starts third alongside Tanara fourth for Okayu. He's gonna try to continue his performance in Formula Hololive at least. Ethan Broderson fifth for Nanashi Mume. Hopefully we got the humans watching. Kizuhara Leo 6 for Kizuhara Murasaki Shion in a track that he should be very familiar with. Callum Gibbons, who won the 2023 Albright Grand Prix at Fuji last year, Split A race, starts 7th. Kiko Takaboshi 8th for Crazy Oli. Isekai Jimiko starts 9th for Miko alongside Crystal Salman 10th for ASCII. 11th goes to Rasim Karashio, the Honeyworks race winner for Lapis Darkness, alongside Alex Grant 12th for Yuki Hanalami. 13th goes to Zeke Wimberley for Sarasvana, alongside Daniel Barger 14th for Shimati Suise. It's going to be an Indonesian-Singaporean back four with Jeff Clark for Nakiri Ayame in 15th, Nino Chitayo 16th for Hoshino Muna, Ale Fartoyo 17th for Minato Aqua alongside Jeff Rohan, 18th place for Tokoyami Toa. So Z, before we start this race, you got any final thoughts?
With Santiago and the history of the Ame car, the Ame car is either in for a glorious victory or a very humiliating defeat, and I'm just gotta wait to see, because that qualifying is just about how fast you can go, not the pacing, the fuel, the strategies, all of that. So we're gonna have to see, if the driver of the Ame car really has that mettle to finally, put it into the spotlight.
Anyways, we're gonna get this Split C race underway. It's the last of the Capture the Moment races here in Fuji Speedway. We've been treated to crazy action. We've been treated to 3 wides. We've been treated to a lot of pit stop strategies and all that stuff, although there were accidents and pit stop errors mired along the way. But anyways, we're gonna put that aside for this one, hopefully. Fernando Santiago on pole position for Watson Emilia alongside. That looks like Richie Ron, number 22 for Shirakami Fubuki. The race will get underway finally, and it will be Bernardo Santiago who is going to try to lead the field into turn 1 for the Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split C race, and we are go. And it looks to me that Richie Rod might not have a very, very good start coming into turn 1, and as you can see here, everyone is just very, very calm and collected here. Will there be any incidents? The answer is going to be no. Oh, just as we say that, you have Inochi Tayo and Alex Grant, all of them being involved in accidents. Alex Grant will not take further part in this challenge for the race win, as he's got damage on his car. Meanwhile, we got side-by-side battle between Richie Rod and Ethan Berthelsen. Rod having a very shocking start, being overtaken by Angela Sims, which now means it's now 1-2 for the in-class cars, with Santiago leading Sims, Rod 3rd, Berthelsen 4th, and Tanner 5th. Leo side-by-side with Takaboshi for 6th place, Gibbons 8th, Mikolev 9th, Kusama rounds out the top 10, and it looks to me that Alex Grant is not going to be able to continue. He's still stranded at the in the middle of turn 1.
Oh, if we don't get that cleared up soon, that could be a big issue, blockade on our drivers. So hopefully we'll get that cleaned up real soon.
But I think if, let's say, there are no 3 wide action, that should be okay. But if there is like 3 wide or maybe 4 wide action, that's going to be absolutely messy. But it looks to me that Alex Grant might just be able to continue, and he would be almost a lap down at this point. So Alex Grant is basically has his race over before it actually even started. Speaking of racing, Alex Santana defending against Kizuhara Leo.
Yeah, Berthelsen has been shooting up positions left to right and center. I believe they started around 6th, 5th, maybe. They're in 4th now, and we're about to claim 3rd until Rod managed to defend their position against them. So overall, Berthelsen is showing the race pace for a potential dark horse victory.
And right now we're looking into another potential battle here. This time we have Zeke Wimberly and Daniel Barger. Daniel Barger already is not having a very, very good season in Formula Hololive so far. If his performances here in Fuji are anything to go by, this is despite Suisei flat out preferring the bright uniform over the original uniform, which would mean that priority has to go to Formula Hololive instead of Hololive GT3. And given the amount of resources being put into this whole thing, it's an absolute shame that the likes of Barger are just this mired back.
Yeah, just overall kind of a lackluster bottom 4 at the moment. Nothing much happened. Santiago setting the fastest lap of this race, 124.845. Everyone getting consistent 125s, 126s across the board. Nothing special here.
We might be seeing a bit of lockups here as drivers were breaking into turn 1, but for now it's going to be pretty okay. Meanwhile, we also have Mikolev, Callum Gibbons, and also Crystal Salaman and Jeff Rohan going side by side. In this battle, Sakaji Mikolev wins, and in this one, Crystal Salaman loses out against Jeff Rohan. Now's a good time to pull up the race field monitor to see who will pit early and who will pit late. Daniel Barger, oh dear, only 7 laps on his field remaining. But for everyone else, we had Crystal Salaman at 26, and Tanaro 26, Rohan 5, Alex Gran is gonna try to hang on for as long as he can, but it looks like he'll have to pit again. We also have Bertelsen, Wimberly, and Santiago not pitting until lap 23. So a lot of these drivers are going to be okay in terms of fuel. Only Daniel Barger and Jeff Clark might have missed the mark.
And they're already having pretty lackluster races too, so it's just kind of a bad time for them, huh?
Anyways, you know who's not having a bad time? Currently, Bernardo Santiago controlling this race at the front, only by a good margin against Angela Sims. But you know, given how lap cars are going to affect this battle for the race leads very much often, it's not going to be any surprise to see that you can see here Alex Gran already down in 18th place, almost under pressure to be lapped by Bernardo Santiago. And then if Bernardo Santiago struggles to pass Alex Gran this early on in the race, Angela Sims might sniff an opportunity to steal something.
Because lapped cars on lap 4 is definitely what we needed, but I guess we're getting it now.
The Watson Amelia driver needs to basically be mindful of the current situation. You can see here Santiago having to defend against Sims, while also at the same time needing to clear the lap car as soon as possible if he wants to have any shot basically extending his lead and controlling this race. And right now we are about to come into the first 10th of this race, and right now looking into other battles here, it's basically much calmer than splits A and B.
Yeah, everyone's just kind of driving on their own right now. Barger looks to be gaining on Clark right now, but as we're speaking, nothing much is happening on the track right now.
Well, nothing much is happening as drivers are just basically just sitting there looking to find some space or something. But as we say that, look at Jeff Clark against Daniel Barger. Both of them are going to be set to at the same time. Look like there's contact between the two. Daniel Barger. Oh, and there's another crash happening at the same time. And holy moly, that's gotta be
ugly.
Crystal Salaman was involved.
So ugly.
Ugly, yes, it's true. Salaman and Tayo involved in two separate incidents. That was a nasty incident. Two separate ones, too. Daniel Barger first spun Jeff Clark, as we're going to be checking on the replays here. Jeff Clark tries to get back on the racetrack and collected Hinochi Tayo. And at the same time, Tristan Salaman looks to be collected by another driver here that looks like Zeke Wimberly, who basically made contact with the ASCII driver.
But thankfully, Solomon and Tayo appear to be going back onto the track right now, so they are not DQ'd just yet. What happened to Grant? What happened to him?
Well, he was involved in a lap 1 accident. He was involved in a lap 1 accident, but that's not going to be the one we're going to be talking about. Here's a side-by-side battle between Richie Rod and Angela Sims for the battle for second place here. And now you can see here, crucially, Santiago has actually cleared the lap car of Alex Grant. Meanwhile, Rod and Sims are going to go at it side-by-side between each other. Both of them are also going to have to have Alex Grant move out of the way. Unfortunately, Grant isn't going to give them any trouble as Angela Sims now moves up into second place once again.
Yeah, and Santiago you can already see that gap widening between them and Sims by about a second and a half now. Everyone's on the track right now, but man, that was still an ugly accident for our back row warriors.
Well, we are looking at a few incidents here. We're looking at 5 drivers involved in that accident. That's almost a third of the entire field, which basically just showcases here the magnitude of this event. Now, this is also not counting the lap 1 incident, which involved Alex Grant being spun out after a lap 1 crash.
Yeah, it's just not a very clean race right now, as we're only on lap 6 as we speak, so yikes.
Meanwhile, more battles left, right, and center. We have Ethan Bertelsen clearing out the lap car of Alex Grant, which he really doesn't have the pace much anymore. I think he has quite the amount of damage. Meanwhile, Antanarao and Kizaru, two purple cars side by side exiting turn 1. Antanarao's going to look for a good exit off of turn 1. Will he have enough of speed coming into Coca-Cola? The answer is no. Meanwhile, we have Kurashio overtaking Callum Gibbons. Jeff Rohan comes into the pits, as we've mentioned here, and as we have expected, Jeff Rohan will not have to pit once again.
Oh man, another one blunders their fuel, and soon it'll be Daniel Barger, I believe, tuning into the pits, so we'll have to wait for that, and they're probably going to blunder their fuel leader if history repeats itself, which it usually does.
And as we had some confirmation there, 6 drivers have already been involved in accidents within the first 5 or 6 laps. So what's not to say that the rest of the field is going to be hit with calamities that might affect their races. Speaking of which, we have Bernardo Santiago still leading by around 6/10 now. It was 1.5 seconds, but Angela Sims is piling on the pressure now.
Yeah, it seems Santiago, Sims, and I believe Rod as well have managed to clear the lap car, which means Santiago no longer has a little pick or blockade against their main competition.
Meanwhile, looking into some of the other competitions here, we have Daniel Barger against Rustin. Sorry, no, that's Rustin Kurashio. We thought that was against Barger and Mikolev, but you can see here Kurashio now trying to challenge Mikolev. We have some other drivers that we also want to take a look into. Hinochi Tayo back in the race. 3 seconds behind Salman, 5 seconds behind Rohan, who is 23 seconds behind Alif Hartoyo. Rohan has already pitted, and he will have to pit again for reasons that we have already explained multiple times. So anyways, for Santiago and Sims currently in the top 2, they're still okay. But we have Mikolev and Kurashio getting very close, and maybe too close for comfort.
Just the whole mid-pack is too close for comfort. 7th through around 11th itself is just kind of a minefield, where if one failed, one lapse in concentration could basically end up in you losing a position or two, with how close every car is to each other.
Oh, and now you can see here Daniel Barger is gonna get called into the pits, and also Rustin Kurashio first. So Rustin Kurashio is gonna have to make his pit stop and inevitably make a pit stop blunder, as there's not enough fuel in the tank for Kurashio to be able to get on to the end of this race. Meanwhile, we have Daniel Barger still continuing on so far, and the fact that Barger will have to pit this next lap will also be something. Also, we also have Jeff Clark also being called into the pits as well.
Yeah, just not a good race for some of our drivers, which is kind of to be expected with how the field layout is doing. It's kind of confusing the pit lanes apparently. So
meanwhile, there's a side-by-side battle with Isakaji Mikolev and Keiko Takaboshi. With Mikolev think of a move down the inside. Right now, the answer is going to be no. Mikolev is going to be blocked by Keiko Takaboshi. Keiko Takaboshi currently driving for Craigioli. And right now, looking at the current situation here, Gibbons is getting closer to both Mikolev and Barger, which should make it a 4-horse race for what should be 7th place.
Yeah, but it is just based off of who can capitalize off the opportunities when they spring up right now, which so far it seems Gibbons was trying to take over Barger's position, even though Barger, I believe, it will be peeling into the pits. Yep, Barger is in the pits.
And also Jeff Clark right behind him. So currently we have 9 laps complete at Fuji Speedway. Santiago, of course, still leads the field by about 0.5 of a second. And Isakaji Mikolev there, so although he is actually not far behind Takaboshi in 7th place. But we'll keep everyone updated of any potential battles here. Just want to remind everyone, this is the Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split C race. the last of the racing here in Fuji Speedway for this weekend, and hopefully you're able to tune in to day 2 of the live stream, the streaming. You can scan the QR code to get your streaming tickets for the tickets to the Fifth Fest. Just wanted to remind you all that.
By the way, we are not sponsored or endorsed by Public. We are doing this out of the goodness of our heart. We are also not making money off the stream. Thank you.
Anyways, just wanted to also take into note here, Jeff Clark just exits right behind Hinoshi Taiyo, who is able to make a comeback or something. Anyway, we are looking into some fastest lap of the race, this time by Angela Sims with a 1:24.667. So this battle is gonna go down to whichever of these cars will win. It's Santiago, Sims, and Rod currently leading the rest of the field in the top 3 positions. Ethan Burleson also showcasing a lot of pace and potential, especially given that this Tanashi Mume number 21 has been on the rounds on Twitter/X recently about the whole thing. Tons of likes and reposts, definitely appreciating that. So Ethan Burleson is going to try to return the favor, as this is his only race of the season so far, as did Zikrin Mali and also Bernardo Santiago. And also some of the other drivers here, Ali Fartoyo, chose not to participate in the Honeyworks race, and currently he's doing pretty okay. He's currently in 11th. Meanwhile, we also have Barger and Coraccio. Actually, it's just a timing tower once again. But anyways, we have our points.
Yeah, and so far, bro, I don't think Burleson would be able to make a comeback to win the whole race, as they are right now 6 whole seconds behind Chiba. So it would have to rely on pit stop blunders, which I believe would not happen.
Anyways, we're looking at Kizaru Leo trying to catch Ethan Burleson for 4th place. Of course, Kizaru Leo has had winning experiences for Murasaki Shion at Fuji Speedway, but this is actually his first time at Fuji. Speaking of which, 4 of the 5 drivers inside the top 5 currently have not raced in Fuji or had any prior experience in Fuji Speedway. The only one who does have prior experience is, of course, Richie Rod. And of course, Richie Rod showcasing his experience in Formula Hololive Japan as of late. He's currently up in 3rd place, trying to catch Angela Sims for 2nd. Which, as with the laps Sims has been repping, I don't think Rod will be able to catch up unless Sims makes an oopsie or gets stuck behind a lap car or something, which shouldn't be happening anytime soon. So right now, Rod is kind of in a slump until the pit lanes and all that, which will play a crucial part in this with the strategies, undercuts, overcuts, etc. Meanwhile, I just wanted to check on, let's say, other situations that may come up. Currently, the only car that is a lap down is currently Alex Grant. Also, we have Jeff Clark and Hinoshi Taiyo trying to go side by side. Will Jeff Clark take a dive on down the inside? Yes, he will. Absolutely pushing Hinoshi Taiyo down to the limit. Santiago fastest lap. Once again, 1:24.351. And this time, Jeff Clark has the better of Hinoshi Taiyo once again. Yeah, Clark has just been having a very lackluster weekend so far. Went to the Honeyworks race, didn't do well there. I think I got around 20th. Now they're in 16th out of 18 cars, so Clark's having kind of a lousy weekend. Yeah, it's not really the best for Jeff Clark at the moment. Meanwhile, we're looking into other scenarios and other battles that may be developing right across the racetrack. Right now we have Angela Sims and Bernardo Santiago's gap basically remaining stagnant. Well, basically remaining just there. It's not really open now or closed down. Currently the gap is only at around 0.7 of a second between the two. Meanwhile, we have Kizaru Leo trying to get close to Richie Roy as Jeff Rohan comes to the pits once again. Yeah, not a good race for Rohan. The other cars should easily take up the free positions that Rohan got for blundering their fuel, and they'll probably blunder their fuel again since it's only lap 13. So, anyways, looking into the rest of the racing here. Just wanted to confirm you all that Jeff Walhan, yes, will have to pit once again. Meanwhile, we still have Ethan Bertelsen up in 4th place, easily one of the better in-class cars. And as for the EN class cars, it's Bernardo Santiago and Ethan Bertelsen up inside the top 4 spots. But the record wins holder in Formula Hololive International right now, Zeke Wimberly, is currently up into 10th place, but not inside the top 5. Well, you think that the guy's gonna get himself up into the top 5 soon enough?
Probably not with how this race has been going. They have a very isolated race. They're 8 seconds behind Gibbons, and Hartogo is 6 seconds behind Winfrey. So just overall, very, very isolated, very chill race.
Isolated and chill for what has been the first, the subsequent 5 to 7 laps. Because the first 5 laps were crazy, with multiple drivers being involved in accidents. First of which being Rustin Caraccio, Christian Salaman was involved, as well as also Hinochi Taiyo and Alex Grant and all that stuff. Jeff Clark was also involved. So let's see, at least a few of them still trying to get themselves back in contention. It's still nice to see, given that they still have this never say die attitude.
I personally just say give up. Like, they're not really gonna get very many points here, and I don't think a comeback would be possible for anyone below like the top 8 or so.
And take it what you will. Some drivers are just gonna keep on fighting, even if it's all gonna come crashing down. Speaking of crashing down, I just wanted to just check on Isakaji Mikolev there. The graphs have crashed down between Mikolev and Takaboshi, and right now both of them are gonna be looking into a battle of their own between each other. As you can see here, Takaboshi now getting close, but it's not close enough. Of course, Mikolev representing Sakura Miko, she has had a new outfit. She's appeared in multiple guest appearances and all that stuff. For Mikolev, for him, I'd say he is also a very good driver, but there are times where he shows exceptional pace and he basically runs out the field. But at the same, and then also you have to take into consideration that back in the Autopolis 400, he was lucky that he is actually not that many positions behind Caleb Gibbons.
Yeah, and then speaking of Gibbons, I don't think Gibbons will be catching up anytime soon, as they are about 2 seconds behind Mikolev, and Mikolev does have a faster lap time than Gibbons, at least that last round. So overall, I don't think even Gibbons can contend for this. Honestly, I don't think Takaboshi is like 9 seconds behind Antonari right now, so it's a very weird, isolated race.
Well, at the very least, you don't get to see wacky accidents left, right, and center, at least in the next portions of the race. We'll try to ignore like the first part of the race never happened, but obviously that would be a very impossible thing to do. Now, Daniel Barger has already made a pit stop. By looking at Barger, he will be pitting in the next 3 laps, so I think he should only be making 2 pit stops. So the error should be minimal, but there is still an error, so that's that. Anyways, Angela Sims now gets closer and closer to Bernardo Santiago. The gaps now drop down to 4/10 of a second. The threat of Alex Grant continues to loom. As for the in-class drivers here, Santiago is going to pit in the next 6 laps. And as for Angela Sims, she's going to be pitting in the next 4 laps. So there's the undercut strategy on which Angela Sims might need to think of. And then there's the overcut strategy on which Santiago is going to need to use for him to extend his lead over Sims.
Yeah, and just all of that, all these strategies combined for our top 2, it's going to be a very interesting fight to see which of these can just seize the most opportunities based off their pit strategy, of which I believe Sims really has to blitz through a lot of their competition in order to have a chance to inherit the lead.
And right now we're looking into the current situation here. Angela Sims still gets really close to Santiago, but her fuel amount is not going to be that many. And right now we have confirmation that Rustin Carrascio has pitted again. And it looks to me that Carrascio... Okay, already he's made a stop. He will have to pit again, unfortunately.
Our number one Lapis Darkness... our number one airheaded glorious leader Lapis kind of miscalculated their fuel stop, probably because Koyori didn't give him the strategy this time. But yeah, they're kind of having a little bit of a temper tantrum over there, you know, as Lapis usually does.
Well, given that, you know, Lapis is someone who is there are times where Lapis just kind of punked herself and basically just fell on herself. But then again, it's entertainment, so we'll probably take it. But in these competitions, that's gonna pay Carrascio absolutely dearly. Now, Carrascio did finish third, currently leads the drivers amongst the split C field in the Formula Hololive Japan qualifiers, but after this race it's gonna be a massive damper. And speaking of dampers, let's talk about the opposite of it. Richie Rod didn't have much of a points day at Sepang in the first race of the Formula Hololive Japan qualifiers, and now you get to see him in third place, so you can expect Rod to try to close the gap by a huge amount to Carrascio. But also we have Kizuhara Leo doing very well, and Tanaro, if he continues his performances inside 6, he should be able to get himself in a very good position. Now we have Bernardo Santiago clearing the lap car of Jeff Rohan, and now Hinata Tayo is up next. So this is where the race gets really interesting, because if Santiago doesn't clear the likes of Jeff Rohan soon, then he's going to be absolutely under pressure from the likes of Richie Rod as well. Meanwhile, we're going to be taking a look into the drivers who will be coming into the pits. I just want to confirm Daniel Barger and Jeff Clark being called into the pits as well.
When is Rod going into the pits? Because I feel like we shouldn't count out Rod yet, although their pace is a little bit slower than Sims. When that pit stop eventually happens, I feel like everything will kind of get a reset.
And speaking of moves here, Santiago tries to get himself clear against Hinochi Tayo. Hinochi Tayo is going to try to cause some trouble to Santiago, but there is no trouble for Bernardo. He's now up into a few positions. He now has 2 lap cars that he can use as a barrier for him against Sims. And right now, speaking of potential battles here, we got Sims. If she doesn't get this move done right, she is going to be absolutely under pressure from Richie Rod, currently back in third place. And speaking of which, Sims does get into the pit lane once again. That is Jeff Ron also going to the pits too.
Yeah, we guess who's just in the pits right now. It is Barger and Clark, and now I guess Rohan, who are in the pits. Sims has gone into the pits as well, hoping to do a, I believe, an undercut strategy, which is interesting on this track, but we'll see how it goes.
Alright, and also we have Richie Rod trying to at least get close to Santiago with no lap cars getting in the way. Rod should have some chance on fighting off Santiago, who is currently up in the race lead. Yes, he's in the race lead. He has been controlling this race for Amelia. The teammates have got to be enjoying this moment. Obviously, the closer the Amelia car have won, gone into winning any race in a aero competition. That was back in December 2022. Of course, the Ame cars have yet to register a single win in aero competition. Even in Formula Hololive Japan, Santiago, he's been very consistent, but not quick enough for him to grab his first win in Formula Hololive competitions. If Santiago is gonna probably do the same thing as Sven Jensen, winning JP race in the EN class cars. But of course, we also wanted to take a look into Angela Sims, who doesn't actually have a lot of dirty air. Just want to check who actually set the fastest lap again.
it was either Santiago or Sims, I believe, with Sims setting a lot of the fastest laps. Oh, by the way, Leo has peeled into the pits.
And also, guess who is also going to be making a move? That's Isekai Jimekalev, currently in 6th. And also, just wanted to check around Santiago and who's Angela Sims here. Angela Sims has had her break for much of the time. Now, obviously, there are multiple times where an ID class car was supposed to win a race, but had it stolen away in one of the cruelest ways possible. Now, if you remember what happened in the Mandalika Super Prix, we got the previous Kaila driver, Monica Schlage, with Hanari Miyuki, who represents Kobo Kanairu. They both made contact in, I believe it was turn 11 and 12 at the Mandalika Super Prix, which costed an ID class win. And most recently in Bororam, Angela Sims was leading in the Bororam Super Prix until she was a bit too impatient. It made a dive bomb against a lap car, have damage caused by her after not being able to avoid the other cars as she was trying to slow down, but that's when it was too late. And so there was damage to Sims' car after she was in the lead, and now she is gonna try to plot her vengeance.
Although there is quite a bit of time that they have to really carry, because I believe Leo has already pitted, correct?
Just wanted to check, Izuhara Leo has already pitted, as we mentioned here. So looking into the race field monitors once again, Cal Gibbons will be pitting the next 4 laps. Mikolev will be almost good until the end of this race, although looking at the fuel, I don't think, yeah, it's not going to be enough for Mikolev. For Barker, he'll have to pit in the next 7 laps. Salman will need to pit in the next 11 laps. Brought in the next 2. Hartoyo in the next 6. Jeff Clark in the next 7. Antara in the next 30. I just want to check. In the next 7 laps too. So Antara is doing very, very well there. He's going to go for the crazy overcut strategy. Imagine Antara winning here in Fuji after having a very horrible Hololive GT3 season.
Nope. Nope, not gonna happen ever. I'm praying on their downfall.
Man, Antara has been very, very unlucky so far in Hololive GT3. You really want him to be quite unlucky in Formula Hololive too, don't you?
Not necessarily, but with him doing so good this race and you mentioning how unlucky he's been, I just kind of feel like being a hater today.
Ouch. So anyways, here's Angela Sims currently at turn 13 coming into nets. Her target is to at least get close to Bernardo Santiago, if not outright overtake him. Here's Santiago and also Takeko Takaboshi coming into the pits as well. Here is Angela Sims currently at the front stretch, the main straight, if you want to call it that. And we have confirmation that Santiago has already made his exits by quite the margin, so the undercut strategy absolutely didn't work. The overcut strategy for Santiago, though, on the other hand, has performed absolutely wonders. So you can see here, Santiago now up into 5th place. The race is on for who would be able to win this race if, let's say, lap cars do keep playing a role, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it seems Sims might actually be robbed of their first place based on their choice of a pitting strategy, as they are still stuck behind Kizaharu Leo as we speak. So that's kind of an issue, and with other drivers probably going to do the overcut, there are probably drivers we didn't even think could beat Angela Sims that might actually do it, such as Gibbons or something.
Yes, and also we have Richie Rod pitting this lap. Ethan Burleson now leads for Nanashi Mumi, but remember, he'll also have to pit sometime soon as well. And for Ethan Burleson, he'll be pitting in the next 3 laps. For Richie Rod, he's gonna have a very short service. Hopefully he has a pretty short service. As you can see here, Santiago has officially cleared Richie Rod. Rod finally gets out and actually gets ahead of Angela Sims.
Yeah, that's not gonna be fun for Sims. Rod is guaranteed, basically, well, not guaranteed, but has a very high likelihood of getting a second place finish after all this.
So anyways, looking back into the current gaps right now, it's gonna be a very, very quiet race here. A lot of the gaps here, like the intervals between the drivers, none of them have a 1 second gap. Every single one of them have at least a 5-second gap. But that may not be always the case, because right now we have Ethan Burleson getting close there to Daniel Barger, who is currently in 14th, at a huge risk of going a lap down.
Alright, well, since there's nothing interesting going on right now, you ever been to a Kmart before?
Well, there is no Kmart, but there is a KK Mart. So I'm not sure what you mean about that. If you're talking about tweakers, well, tweakers exist in gas stations.
Yeah, that... Oh, wait, Kyle went into the pits. I didn't realize that. But basically, Kmart, is like Walmart, but worse.
Ouch, which I have to basically, feel for you, because sometimes it can get a bit ratchety on whatever happens there. But anyways, more pit lane activity has been confirmed. Hinoshi Tayo has made her pit stop once again after being involved in an accident.
Karashio?
Rustin Karashio. Oh yeah, Rustin Karashio. Oh yeah, you're right. Rustin Karashio has been involved in an accident, and that would see him out again. Talk about an absolute contrasting amount of fortunes here, as Karashio now gets himself back into the race. Now the new dead last driver.
From first to last, this is they had the world in the palm of their hands, and then they tripped on their shoelace or something, and now it's just gone.
Well, sometimes it happens for you, sometimes it doesn't, and now it doesn't for Rustin Karashio, who has been lauded as one of the more consistent drivers out there in the Aero. I think I might just have jinxed him.
Wow, I guess Koyori didn't really plan this race through, as everyone knows that Lapus is definitely a very competent leader, and not at all... actually, I should probably shut up before I get executed.
Anyways, we have Alison Tara now leading this race for Nakamata Akayu after Ethan Burleson has come into the pits. Of course, his time in the lead is going to be pretty limited. Alex Grant is going to be called into the pit. Same goes for Jeff Rohan again. And Rustin Karashio is still stuck there in the... Well, sorry. He still needs to pit, though. Looking at Karashio, it's going to go from bad to absolutely bad. We're not going to sugarcoat it. We're not going to sugarcoat it at this point.
Boo, boo, Antonar. I hope you have to pit, and like you spent a really long time in there. As much as I love Okayu, but I'm praying on your downfall, buddy. You're gonna lose.
Ouch. I'm not sure what Antanara has done bad as of late, but right now he has been currently not at his... he's trying his best in Hololive GT3, but the fact that he was involved in 4 straight accidents in Hololive GT3, and also in Formula Hololive, the fortunes are somewhat contrasted, as if you notice, Antara had a, how do we say this? A 4th place finish in the Sepang Grand Prix, and if he continues where he is at the moment, and if he can limit the damages, by which he is actually gaining some time on Bernardo Santiago, he might just be a dark horse contender for at least the top 6 or top 5.
I think that the... Wait, what am I doing? Oh, yeah. No, he's not.
Ouch. Well, we'll have to wait and see, because we're seeing even more activity here as Ale Fartoyo finally comes into the pits. Speaking of pit stops, let's take a look on the graphics on the drivers making pit stops here. Who's made 3 pit stops, who's made 4 pit stops. Looking at Karashio, who is not going to take any further part anymore in this race. He will finish last. That's one thing that's guaranteed. Hinoshi Tayo is currently going to take a points position away from Alex Grant and Jeff Rohan. We will have Ali Fartoyo still stuck on track. Oh yeah, I forgot that Rustin Karashio has pitted.
Oh yeah, they do that a lot. So Karashio, how's the weather down there?
Well, he might say it's a bit cloudy, or something like that in Japanese. But anyways, moving on, we have Zeke Wimberly currently up in 4th place, but he has yet to make a pit stop. Same goes for Al Santana, by which he will make his pit stop now. Now, Z will want to believe that Antara will want to have to pit for a very, very long time, so that, you know, because there is a personal agenda against Antara, but we'll have to wait and see. And as you can see here, Santiago will have no problems clearing Antanarao as he's still sitting there in the pit lane. Richie Ross is going to be the next to clear. And also we have Zeke Wimberly and Ethan Burleson battling side by side. Burleson also showing a lot of potential in the Nanashimube number 21.
And look at that pace, 7/10 of a second faster than Wimberly, which means they're probably gotta be I really don't like how close they are. Oh my god.
And also Antanara manages to overcut both of them. He's now up into 3rd place.
Yeah, but they still got 8 seconds to clear to get to Richie Rod, so that might be a bit of a problem. We're more than halfway through this race right now, so Caraccio sort of a clean 2:31 on their lap time, you know.
This is after they've made their pit stops, so that may not really count.
Yeah, it does. It totally counts.
Anyways, just want to check again. Daniel Barger makes his 3rd pit stop. Yeah, there are some issues with the strategists. Some of the strategists have absolutely drank whatever they're drinking, smoking whatever they're smoking. So again, that is not gonna do them much favors. But anyways, back onto the racing scene, we have Bernardo Santiago now clearing the likes of Jeff Rohan, I believe, away, with him already down in 17th. Now, would it be very funny if, let's say, Jeff Rohan causes an accident right here?
Shut up! They're not gonna cause an accident. They're perfectly certified to race on this racetrack, alright?
Meanwhile, we have Ethan Burleson trying to challenge Al Santana off a position there. The Nanashi movement number 21 is gonna moom, and as you can see, Burleson is gonna moom so hard that Antanara is probably gonna have his pants colored in a very weird color. But anyways, that's what Ethan Burleson is doing to Antanara. He's now out into 3rd place.
You could not have described that in a worse fashion if you could. Also, yeah, Antanara falling to 4th place. Wow, imagine, could it be me? But looking into the gaps here, wow, Sims has finally caught up to Leo after taking a million years to do so. How does that undercut taste, buddy, by the way? Sure, it tastes awful.
Ouch. Anyways, Sims is gonna look for an opportunity to get past Kizora Leo there, having a very, very good launch there at the exit of the hairpin. And it's to me that Sims is gonna try to get herself close into Leo's position. As it stands, it's gonna be Santiago leading this race. Barat 2nd, Burleson 3rd, and Tanarao 4th, Wimberly 5th, Kizora Leo 6th. You can see here that 5 of the international cars are currently inside the top 10, which is a good thing if you are enjoying the overseas branches. But if you're a JP enjoyer, like some of us, that's not going to be nice. Anyways, Angela Sims, who was challenging for the race lead, is now currently down in 7th place. Now they're going to try to make it 3 wide as Leo tries to collision Noshitayo, which he will be able to do so. Oh, a bit of a lockup there by Angela Sims as she tries to get her car slowed down enough. And right now, we have Leo against Sims at the moment. But meanwhile, looking into the rest of the field here, let's take a look at the driver progress charts as well while we're at it.
Well, so far our biggest gainer so far is Wimberly with eight positions, but they have yet to pit. I don't even know when they're pitting, honestly. They have 14 laps to go.
Well, it's gonna be soon because right now we're looking into the field runs there. Zeke Wimberly will have to pit in the next 2 laps. So around laps 31 or laps 32, this is when Zeke will be called in to have his service. If you want to see how bad the tires are at the moment, well, this is only 31 laps in Fuji Speedway. You've seen how the tires absolutely get shredded after 55 laps.
No siree. They're perfectly fine. They're perfectly okay.
All right.
Good tires.
Anyways, Bernardo Santiago currently still holding on to the lead at the moment. Just wanted to see if the action can flare up in the final stages here. 14 laps to go for this weekend. We have already covered about 700 kilometers of racing already. And we're currently about to go into the final 50. Which just shows to you how much distance we've all been covering throughout this entire weekend. Obviously, there's been a lot of racing action. There's been a lot of crashes, a lot of drama, a lot of dumb decisions sometimes. And overall, the winners, for the most part, are definitely justified. Some win on pace. Some win by just being in it to win it. Some win by getting their cards right. So yeah, you got currently this weekend is still nice so far, even if, let's say, Hololive's popularity is slightly dwindling down due to the pandemic no longer being the pandemic and all that stuff. But you know all that, give or take. Speaking of which, giving and taking for Angela Sims and Kizara Leo. They're using Zeke Wimberly as a pick here. Zeke Wimberly is going to come into the pits. That will cause some pressure from Angela Sims here. Angela Sims is going to use the slipstream to try to fend off Kizara Leo, and that might just work barely there for Sims. Kizara Leo's down on the inside, coming into the braking zone at turn 1. As Wimberly finally comes into the pit stops, Sims hangs around the outside to see if she's able to hang it around, and it looks like she's able to. But you can see here Kizara Leo let's see if Kizara Leo can make the switch back and cause some troubles to Sims. The answer is going to be no. And finally, Sims gets up into 5th.
Speaking of getting into stuff, Salmon Man has just got into the pits again.
Oh dear, looks like it's another pit stop miscalculation for Salman. So again, Salman was involved in an accident on the early stages of the race, so even if he does pit and refuel now, he will not make it until the end of the race. So basically this is a forced hand for Salman this time. It's not an error amongst the pit crew, it's literally forced upon him, because obviously he was involved in an accident quite early on.
Wow, I should not say that in a commentary. Wow, that must suck, huh? That must be such a unfortunate turn of events, huh?
Anyways, we're coming into the final 10 laps of the Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Split C, the last race of the weekend, before we move things over to Hololive, where they will be hosting the Honeyworks concert and Stage 3, which the Honeyworks Invitational and Split C are based off of. Anyways, we're looking into pace differences between Richie Rod and Bernardo Santiago. See, 5 laps ago, what was the gap between Rod and Santiago? Because Rod is actually catching Santiago at a rate of not.
I think it was somewhere around 4 seconds, I think. I might be biased because I'm a Sukorn, so I like Fubuki a lot, but I think it was somewhere around there.
Let's take a look into the lap time differences, because you can see here Santiago has lost a lot of time. You can see at the lap time, the difference is that the gap difference was at around 3.3, and now the gap's dropped down to 2.5 seconds. That could be explained by the fact that Bernardo Santiago's tires aren't working at the moment. Because look, see here, Santiago doesn't have any traffic. He's got open air in front, and Richie Rod is just easily able to get closer and closer. 125.721 for Santiago. Richie Rod 124.722, a full second faster.
I am heavily biased. I am hoping Rod wins, and they're my favorite. They are my chosen ones. Go, make me proud, please.
Anyways, speaking of crowd pleasers here, right now there are no crowd pleasing moves at the moment here. Meanwhile, Zeke Wimberly is currently in 11th place, trying to catch up to Alif Hartoyo. Meanwhile, Richie Rod now still gets close there to Bernardo Santiago. The graph's now dropped down to 2 seconds here. If you want to know about the tire situation will look like this. Rod only has lap fresher tires than the likes of Santiago, but the fact that Rod is still able to catch Santiago with no aid of lap traffic is just something to behold of. Also, taking a look at this helmet.
Whoa. My goat. I love it. It's so awesome. I'm so biased. I am so unbelievably biased.
Well, I guess. Anyways, let's take a look into Antanarao trying to catch Ethan Balderson. He's currently matching his best finish in Formula Hololive in this season with a 4th place win. Although his best finish in Formula Hololive is actually a 2nd place for Okayu. I mean, Antanarao has been someone who has been performing quite well in Formula Hololive, having great results here. I believe he scored a top 10 in the Formula Hololive Japan postseason and scored, I believe, an 11th or 12th in the overall standings in 2023. Obviously better than around 23 other drivers. Meanwhile, we might think of something of a move, but there are no moves done. Speaking of other drivers here, let's take a look at the Rustin Crusher, who was involved in a collision with someone. We'll have to check into Crusher as to what happened to him. Jeff Rohan as well. Jeff Clark, we've already seen what happened with the crash that happened early on alongside Daniel Barger, now going side by side with Alex Grant for 14th.
Well, with Antonio, is going to be unlucky again, as you're going to get a runner-up and not a podium finish. It was so close yet so far. How's it feel?
Well, they're going to get closer and closer there. Meanwhile, we have Daniel Barger winning this battle against Alex Grant. And also, speaking of which, look at Richie Rod. He's actually gaining a lot of time on Bernardo Santiago. Now the gap dropped down to 0.8 of a second. And we are just about at 10 laps to go, now coming to 9 laps to go. Rod might just have a chance to win this race.
That's the perfect roll for me. 125.325 compared to a 124.734. Santiago is really starting to feel the pressure right now as they slowly gain upon him.
Meanwhile, currently we have Ethan Burleson about to be under pressure against the lap car. Burleson needs to clear Jeff Rohan as soon as possible, otherwise Antanarao is gonna pounce.
Let's hope the kitty doesn't pounce, but looking into the gaps, nothing's going on, honestly.
Well, nothing's going on in the grand scheme of things, yes, but looking at how Santiago and Rod basically trade blows between each other, if Rod can get close enough, that will be very, very amazing. Meanwhile, we have Crystal Salmon currently in 12th place, not exactly quite far away from Santiago, so right now we're not going to be expecting any lap car interferences. Everyone should be good on field right at the end. Meanwhile, Kizara Leo is going to get close to Angela Sims. He wants that 5th place.
Yeah, but it's kind of out of reach at the moment, as they just can't really find a very good opportunity to just make a move, as except maybe on this straight they would have a chance to make a move. Speaking of making a move, I don't think Rod will be able to make one. This lap, 124.922 by Santiago, 124.733 by Rod, so Santiago slowly gaining their pace back bit by bit.
Anyway, speaking of pacing, here's Antanarao thinking of a move against Bertelsen. Bertelsen is already cleared the lap car Jeff Rohan, but Jeff Rohan is going to have other ideas. But fortunately, Bertelsen is able to get himself into 3rd place. It's not going to be an EN class win for Bertelsen despite the hype amongst the humans. But for Angela Sims, she will at least bring home the ID class win, but not an overall win. And for Richie Rahi, will at least have a JP class win, even if he's unable to overtake Santiago. But even then, he thinks this is not going to be enough. I have the car, I have the pace, I have the blessing of our cat friend, Fox, cat, whatever, anything, and all of this combo. Yeah, something like that. But whatever. Well, it's all dependent on who you ask. But anyways, Richie Rod is going to try his luck to get a very, very good exit off of Panasonic. Meanwhile, we're looking into some of the other battles that we might need to take a look at, but it's just a tower borking. So here we have Richie Rod, a very, very good exit. And a 1.5 kilometer long straight. It's gonna go. It's gonna be nervy for Santiago, but for Rod, this will be a gilt edge opportunity to try to get himself closer and closer and closer.
Come on, please. But instead of me let's look into the timetables. With Barger has a chance to go over Tayo, but also Grant's on the back. Berthelsen and Antonaro are still having a cat fight or a human fight or whatever's going on over there. Wait, no, they're not actually. Antonaro backed off.
Well, Antonaro has been backed up because currently he's been under pressure to try to clear the lap car of Jeff Rohan. That's why he's backed off. But meanwhile, Antonaro might just have to try again, but his time is running out. 7 laps to go before the end of this race.
Oh yeah, sorry, my leg just shot up in pain. My bad. But yeah, did Antonaro did not get the 3rd place that they so desired? 2 full seconds behind Berthelsen with about, what, 7 laps to go? It's gonna be tough.
And right now we're seeing Richie Rod against Bernardo Santiago. A great exit from Richie Rod is needed if he wants to stake his claim into the top spot here. And right now Richie Rod has the slipstream. Will it be close enough? The gaps have opened up. You can see here Santiago is absolutely great on the straights, while Richie Rod is amazing in the corners. So we're seeing each of these cars' strength come into effect. And as you can see here, Richie Rod gets very close there. Obviously, he's made the switch to Honda engines for this round onwards, and right now is now doing himself absolutely huge amount of favors there. See, if you see, notice what happened to the Hololive members in the bright uniforms for this edition's fest, this edition of the Hololive Festival. Some of them have changed bottoms. Some have switched to the short type. Some of the others have also switched to the skirt type. Some have remained unchanged. And yeah, this also is also reflected by some of the attributes that each of these cars have. So some of these cars are now switched to Toyota, some of the cars are now switched to Honda, and vice versa and all that stuff. And some have remained unchanged. Anyways, we have Grant and Barger going side by side.
Barger and Grant not having a very good race so far. But it seems that was a really lame battle, I'm not gonna lie. I think Barger just backed off immediately.
Again, Bernardo Santiago manages to have enough of a gap against Richie Rod for him to stay up in front. Here you can see the amount of acceleration on that number 88 car is so unreal. Bernardo Santiago really just is pulling away at the main straight. Rod is now hoping that lap cars are going to be an interference. But here's the problem. Here's Crystal Salaman. Here is Bernardo Santiago.
Yeah, kind of a problem for Rod, but hopefully they'll find a way to win for their beloved Fox Oshi Shirakami Fubuki, also known as the best Oshi. Definitely not biased, but for now that is kind of a not looking so hot for Rod.
Meanwhile, speaking of so hot, not looking so hot, not looking so hot for Alex Grant as Daniel Barger peels down the inside of Alex Grant. Alex Grant's gonna go for a move here after being spun out on lap 1. Alex Grant is gonna try to get himself some money's worth in this race, as he's now gonna try to challenge Daniel Barger, representing one of the more standout Hololive members out there, Suisse. And now you can see both of them going side by side, and you can see here they're still gonna go side by side right at 100R. And as you can see here, they're still hanging around, both of them, and it looks to me that Alex Grant is gonna be the victor for now.
Yeah, though Barger will definitely probably try again. We have a 14 through, I believe, 15th, 13th through 15th. Kind of a struggle going on right now. We have a big struggle right there. What is going on?
Well, some drivers backing up other drivers, and then it starts a chain reaction, something like that. Meanwhile, we are looking to some of the battles that we might want to highlight. Kizaru Leo, of course, has run out of fuel. We've mentioned that he has had some fuel miscalculations. He's going to be giving up his 6th place. And also Isakaji Mikolev, which will be good news for Takaboshi, Gibbons, Hartoyo, and Wimberley. They will be able to gain a position or two.
That is very good for them. Not so good for Leo and Mikolev though. This only kind of messes up the late game standings even more. And what's Mikolev peeling into the pits or out of them? I think it's in. Never mind.
Anyway, we got battles from both ends of the grid here. We got Keiko Takaboshi wanting to clear the lap cars of Alex Grant and Daniel Barger, and at the same time, there's Callum Gibbons wanting to chase Keiko Takaboshi for what should be 6th place now. Now you can see here the battles are still raging. And also, I want to talk about the Watson Emilia record in aero competitions. If Bernardo Santiago wins today, it will be the first time the Watson Emilia car wins a race in aero competitions. Bernardo Santiago will have his debut win. Watson Emilia will have her debut win as well.
Yeah, but right now Santiago has lost pace to Richie Rad by about a hundredth of, well, not a hundredth, a tenth of a second. So Rod only has about 3 laps to make or break this little competition.
Well, make or break this move for the race win. We'll have to wait and see about that. You can see here Richie Rod. This is where he gains a lot in the corners. You can see Richie Rod's setup is basically geared towards the corners. Santiago's setup is mainly geared towards the straights. So right now we have both cars on contrasting setups on where they will want to gain their time the most. You can see here Rod is trying his best to claw as much time in the corners, but now it's not going to be anything to work by. Miwa Takaboshi, Gibbons, Tayo, and Barger and Grant are on a battle of their own too. You can see here Noshitaya is also going to be involved, not for a lot. Well, Noshitaya is not involved as well. You can see here.
Yeah, the Tayo's just kind of minding their own business right now. Honestly, everyone, the top 3 through like 5 are minding their own business right now, completely isolated. But Rod is not isolated. They're trying to gain as much time as possible. 124.730 to 124.810, almost a perfect tenth of a second between their 2 lap times, with Rod having a slight edge. This might just be the lap that they can make an overtake on.
Well, if Richie Rod can get close enough in these corners, maybe Rod might do a gung-ho move right around the inside of, I don't know, 100R, maybe if Santiago suddenly makes a mistake. But Richie Rod does very well to get himself close to Santiago. But again, more props to Santiago for him to basically stay where he is. Also, let's take a look into the progress charts. Alif Hartoya is a massive surprise.
Up 7 positions despite having an overall very lame late game. He hasn't done anything really in the late game.
Anyways, speaking of late game moves here, we have side by side between, that looks like Callum Gibbons and Alex Grant. Callum Gibbons is not going to be enjoying the fact that lap cars are in the way of him getting closer to Takaboshi. And he's not going to be happy about that one. Probably sending out C words, maybe. But then again, here's one last chance for Richie Rod to try to attack Bernardo Santiago. Well, this is going to be the final lap of the weekend for aero competitions here in Fuji Speedway. We're about to close down our part of the Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Fuji. Meanwhile, we still have the Honeyworks and the Split Stage 3 event, which will be hosted later today. Of course, you can scan the QR code onto the bottom left of your screen when it appears, so that you can have access to payment methods for if you want to gain tickets. Also, we are not affiliated, endorsed, or covered by Cover Code. We're just doing this out of free will. We're not going to be putting ads on these streams and something like that. Anyways, closing remarks. Rod may not be able to catch up to Santiago.
I want to give up complete hope yet. They're close, but I don't think they're close enough. But there's still a sparkle of hope for Rod going into the Dunlop. So.
And right now, it's not going to be the case here. Bernardo Santiago has been very much a very good talisman for all the teammates watching. We've had multiple drivers representing Watson Emilia throughout multiple times, but never a driver has been this good and consistent since Bernardo Santiago. If there's gonna be one part in time where Watson Emilia will want to revisit multiple times over, it's going to be this moment. Bernardo Santiago is in the main straight to complete an amazing drive for Watson Emilia and for the teammates. Bernardo Santiago is going to win the Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split C race.
I quit.
Ethan Burleson crosses the line in third for Nanashi Mume, capping off an amazing run for the humans. Richie Rod, of course, has to be fuming that he has lost an opportunity to have a win. But then again, Santiago is just very good on the straights. Even if Rod was good on the corners, the drivers played their advantages quite well. But it's going to be Fernando Santiago with the advantage. We're seeing more drivers crossing the line. Rohan 17th. And Tannerau 4th once again. Sims 5th. Takaboshi 6th. Gibbons is going to defend his 7th. Leo 8th. Mikolev 9th. Hartoyo 10th. And for Tannerau, he's going to treat this like he's won the championship.
But he didn't, because he only got 4th. At least the Sucorns got second. What a bozo.
Well, I mean, we are seeing drivers who are a lap down. We're seeing drivers 2 laps down. All that stuff. Jeff Clark's going to finish 16th. Hartoyo Wimberley 11th. Salaman 12th. Rasim Karasha will be the last driver to cross the line. And that should be it for the Capture the Moment Grand Prix races. Split C has now come to an end. Let's take a look into the results. So let's take a look here. We have Bernardo Santiago winning for Watson Emilia in pretty convincing fashion, but not in the way you'd think. It's not dominating, but he does manage to defend against Richie Rod, despite Rod having a faster car in the corners. Richie Rod for Shirokami Fubuki has done very well to try to attack Santiago, but it's not going to be enough. He will finish second, winning the JP class at the very least. Ethan Bertelsen, the second for Nanashi Mume, gets a podium for the humans. That's going to be a nice thing to see. Antarao 4th for Nanokamata Kayu, gets second in the JP class. Angela Sims wins the ID class and 5th overall for Anya Mafisa. Kiko Takawashi 6th for Craigiotti for 6th overall. Kyle Gibbons 7th for Roboco. And then we have Kizuhara Leo 8th for car number 8 for Shion. Mikolev 9th for Miko. And Ali Fattori rounds out the top 10 for Minato Aqua in 10th. Zeke Wimberley 11th for Saraswan alongside Crystal Salaman, car number 12 in 12th position for ASCII. Noshitayo 13th for Muna. Daniel Barger 14th for Suisse alongside Alex Grant 15th for Yukihana Lamy. Drivers out of the points include Jeff Clark for Ayame, Jeff Rowan 17th for Tokoyami Toa, and Rustin Karashio 18th for Laplas Doctors. So there's going to be a huge complexion change in the championship for sure. And meanwhile, Z, before we get into replays, I want to hear your thoughts.
I'm mad. I'm mad.
Ouch. Just not in a good mood right now, Z. But meanwhile, let's take a look into what happened at the start. So you can see here what happened to... Oh, dear. That is ugly. That is ugly. You don't want to know what happened at the start, Z. Let's take a look.
I thought you said I didn't want to know.
And guess who piled
through? They just got pushed aside like a ragdoll. Okay.
So let's take a look into one of the onboards, especially Zeke Wimberley, as he was involved in the accident. So let's take a look here.
Alright, let's see what they did. So takes a turn onto the right and... Oh, okay, that was unfortunate.
Well, unfortunate if you're Alex Grant, and that would be one of the first incidents of the day. Another incident that we might want to pay attention to is Jeff Rowan, but that's mostly just an issue of pit stop after pit stop after pit stop. You might also want to know what happened to Rustin Karashio when all of this happened. So here is Rustin Karashio battling against the likes of Alton Tara, actually.
And... Oh. You should punish him for that. We need to punish him for that.
Well,
30-second penalty. 30-second penalty.
So let's take a look into what happened to Antanara once again. So you can see here, Antanara having a very good slipstream here, trying to find some space against Karashio. Probably making a move down the inside. You can see here, he thought of a move, but it's going to be too late. He still made the poke on Karashio, so... Okay, we might have to take a look into this because... Oh, but then again, Karashio is not even in the points. So, there may be another decision that may come into mind. Also, another incident that we want to take a look into is basically... which one is it? It's right over here. If I'm not mistaken, it's this one where there was a pretty crazy incident going on. Okay, maybe not this one, not this one. Right here, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah, this is the incident. This is the incident. So it's between Jeff Clark and Daniel Barger first. So we're gonna be focused on Jeff Clark because we already seen Daniel Barger's end of the stick. So you can see here, Jeff Clark tried to defend against Barger. Barger peeks on the inside, makes the move against Clark. Clark tries to rejoin the track, and at the same time, Zeke Wimberly pushes off Crystal Salman. And Jeff Clark, after being collected by Hinochi Taya, manages to get back on the track. How funny.
That was kind of a mess.
And speaking of messes, here is what happened.
And oh, okay. That was just not enough room. Okay.
Well, this is another one of those incidents that happened. Speaking of which, just wanted to check who are any. I think there are other drivers who were involved in incidents, right?
There are too many to count in this race, man.
All right, so I think that should be all, at least in this regard. So I think just wanted to check. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone else that we should be able to cover. So I think we should be able to conclude this weekend with one last check into the standings here. So let's go into the standings here for the last race of the day and for the weekend for this event. So let's take a look into the standings, hopefully if it loads. And unfortunately it's not going to be the case for now because it's not loaded and everything's reset. So yeah, I hope everyone is able to check the results in. And speaking of results, and yeah, all right, so there is the result, but that's only for the invitational, so we're gonna have to manually input what happened right at the end. So with that being said, that should be it for our streams of the day. This would mean that our stream should be able to finish. With that being said, thank you everyone for watching the stream. It's been a pleasure to cover these races to basically help promote the Fifth Fest because Hololive has been entertaining us, and it's just natural for us to return the favor. With that being said, if you are able to buy tickets, go buy tickets. We're not sponsored, by the way. Just go show support for Hololive and their talents and all that stuff. With that being said, that should be it for us at Fuji Speedway. I'm Omar Shadariza. Alongside me is Zeke Wimberly in the commentary booth, and you've been watching the Capture the Moment Grand Prix and the Honeyworks Invitational and Split C races for today. We'll see you in Tsukuba for round 3 of Formula Hololive Japan, and for Formula Hololive International, it will be until next April until we'll have the next racing action at the Red Bull Ring. With that being said, we'll see you next time. Take care.